What's up, everybody? Hopefully, you can hear me. I don't see any of the chat box. I'm working on finding the chat box so I can see you guys. I do not see any of it. There it is. There it is. How do I? Now I got to figure out how to make it bigger. That's the hard part. You guys all know about that. There we are. Now I can see the chat box. Minimize that real quick. Get the TikTok box. I'm still getting used to this. I don't have the TikTok chat involved there. We will have to see. Jen, I'm going to leave my phone on, Discord on my phone, and we may have to do it, communicate via phone today. TikTok, TikTok isn't live. That's weird. You can hear me? Sorry, I'm being told that TikTok isn't live. Hey, I don't know why TikTok wouldn't be live. It tells me it is on my end. Sorry, guys. We're still working out the kinks on some of this stuff. Oh, there it is. It just is late. I think we got it now. There we are. There's TikTok. Rolling in late. TikTok's a late bloomer. I think that's what we learned. How's everybody feeling? How's everybody feeling? We good? We good? Everybody feeling like things are going well? It was a bad day yesterday, man. It was a really, really bad day yesterday. I don't really know what to do about it. I don't really know what to do or say about that. It's a bad day. And I don't think it's gonna get substantially better. But I think this is where we find ourselves at now. The truth is, Rod, next question. The truth is, we have 2 years of fighting. We have 2 years of fighting to get the control back of the Senate and the House, and then 2 more years. And I do think it's important to remember that it takes a lot of stuff. I think it takes a lot of effort to overturn democracy. It'll take a lot of capitulation. And it's going to be our job to do a couple of things that I don't really love always doing. One of those things is going to be making sure that when Republicans stand up against things that we agree with them on, we need to stand in solidarity with them. We can't just cancel everybody who stands with us, and some of those people are going to be shit. Like those are people we're going to be friends with in real life, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Like politics, there's 350 million people in this country. And politically, we're not going to agree. And sometimes we're going to find agreement with people that we would rather not be associated with. And we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to do that for democracy. Remember, most everybody doesn't want to live under fascism. In fact, I would imagine all Republicans, with the exception of a few, don't want fascism. They just aren't convinced that this is fascism yet, and that happens slowly. That's the and frankly, I got a message from one of my friends. I won't drop their name because they didn't say I could drop their name, but somebody who has gone through a lot of, I would say, has dealt with a lot of. I don't want to use persecution. Yeah, maybe persecution. A person who's been othered their whole life, who also shared like the same religion as me, just messaged me yesterday and said, "You and I know what it's going to take for these people to wake up. Something so far beyond the pale that some of them, enough of them, leave the cult. There will be no end to the excuses because the story is the most important thing." And that hit me hard because this is a feeling that ex-Mormons get a lot when we leave the Mormon thing. We call it religion, high demand religion. Leah, yeah, I wish it was Leah Remini. It's a feeling that we're used to, and I think it's why maybe, despite there not being like a massive amount of ex-Mormons that exist, I do think that they have like an outsized presence on social media, especially in liberal circles, and it's because like we've been doing this. You know, like we fight a fight every day that we know we're not going to win. We fight a fight every day that we just hope like one of our friends comes to our side. And that maybe we're never going to get rid of the machine, but maybe we can do things that hurt the machine, or maybe we can do things that force the machine to change. And that's where we're at. Fundamentally, we can't change what Republicans believe, what they want to happen. What we can do, however, is we can point out instances where what is happening goes against their own beliefs. And we have a lot of that. We have an insane amount of that, and we have a lot of ammunition. I'll also say this. You'll notice if you're on TikTok right now that you'll see there's not a guest request button. I'm doing that on purpose. I'm doing that on purpose for two reasons. One, I don't feel good about myself after yelling about politics. I don't. I feel shitty. I feel embarrassed. There's every time I lose my cool on a live, there is a real part of me that's like, hey, I'm going to go back and delete that live. Like, I don't want that on the record. It's on the record. It is what it is. I think some people enjoy it. And I think that maybe it is helpful for some people in some situations, but for me, it is detrimental, and I think it's a waste. I think listen. I'm not looking for. I promise I'm not looking for like sympathy here. I'm just telling you how it makes me feel, and why we're taking a different direction. I don't think it was useful yesterday to have those conversations. We spent an hour and a half talking. I mean, maybe 2 hours talking to people from the other side who are not interested in reality, not interested in what we have to say, but not interested in reality, not interested in discussing like real things that happened. And when you present data, the data is going to be overlooked by, oh well, it's just been manipulated. And I thought about that for a long time last night, and I didn't feel good. Like maybe not feel good about myself. I didn't feel good. Right. And I don't think many of you felt good yesterday. And I started thinking about like the ban on TikTok. And I signed off Friday. TikTok was still around Saturday. I jumped in one live just to Alina, just to apologize for standing her up. And then I listened to the awards show. And then mostly I wasn't on TikTok. And then Sunday there was no TikTok. And I have to be honest, I felt better. Like, this was before all this shit happened on Monday. I felt better. And I think that there's like two groups of people that are going to exist for the following months on our side of the aisle. There's going to be people who fight, and there are people who are going to go out and try and combat what's going on, and there will be people who will get perpetually more angry. And I think probably both groups are fine. But I think that sometimes we can get lost in the politics and forget to take care of ourselves. And so I'm advocating for that. I'm advocating that anybody here that is, spent 10 hours on TikTok yesterday and woke up feeling shitty, woke up feeling like the world is ending, we got to do something different. Take a walk, exercise, jump on a trampoline, go touch grass, whatever. Do it. No, I'm not taking a break. I'm not quitting. I'm just changing a little bit. Like, the only thing that's changing here really is that for the next little while, I'm not taking guests. And in the future, when we take guests and we have debates, they'll be scheduled, and it'll be people that we know are going to engage in good faith discussion. I have no interest in fighting with the same fucking people I fought with for the last 3 years. It's the same people over and over again. Everybody knows who they are. Nobody ever comes up that's like, oh, we've never heard this person before. It's the same people. So I would love to have debates with people from the other side of the aisle, but they will be scheduled. Like, no longer are they going to derail the show and the information that we have coming out. Frankly, I have too good of a team to take the information that they put together and they work their asses on and have that information not be put out every day. The team is too good, and they care too much, and they're finding too many things. So I want to use this platform for now as a way to get information out there, but also I want this to be a place where people don't have to leave. I didn't like when people are like, I gotta leave right now. Now is not the time for that fight. Now is like hypothetical time. Everything we think Trump is about to do is a hypothetical, and we can believe it, and we're probably right, and it doesn't matter. It's not worth arguing about hypotheticals. We'll come back when Trump starts doing some more real things, despite the fact that he did some very real things yesterday, and that will bring us into the show. Thank you for allowing me to rant for a minute. First, I want remember when we had to mute this guy because it was ridiculous? Remember this guy? Also, could we all start referring to Trump's penis as the millimeter miracle? I think that's fair. I think that's a good idea. We can make T-shirts. I'm not muted. No sound. Oh, you guys can't hear the sound on this? Ooh, that's not good. All right, give me a second. I probably have to change the properties on the desktop audio. All right, let's see if this. What about now? Can you hear it now? No? This is strange. Let's try this. Ah, that's why. I think I got it. Let's see.
Feel the true meaning
Boom.
of our creed.
There we go. Did you guys hear that? It was my fault. It was my fault on that. I just didn't check it. All right, here we go.
Let us pray for our 47th president. Heavenly Father, we're so...
I'm going to make you listen to this whole thing just because it's going to make what I tell you next feel better. So just like sit here in anger while this guy, this douchebag, pray. But by the way, like while he's praying, everybody's still dapping each other up.
Grateful that you gave our 45th and now our 47th president a millimeter miracle. We are grateful that you are the one that have called him for such a time as this, that America would begin to dream again. We pray that we would fulfill the true meaning of our creed, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
All right, let's get to the good part. Oh, yeah, now here's the performance.
That you will make this come true. So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring.
Let freedom ring. All right, listen, we called him a grifter yesterday, and he is a grifter because of what he does, but he's the worst kind of grifter. He's the MAGA kind of grifter. And here's another grifter that MAGA will defend, and I want to show you guys something. This is a program called Dex Screener. Dex Screener allows you to track it allows you to track Bitcoin not Bitcoin prices, excuse me, crypto prices. I want you to see what he did yesterday. Do you see this yesterday? Old boy gave himself a Solana coin, and it peaked, and then he sold. He ran a rug pull yesterday too. Shocker, right? That good Christian man up there praying to Jesus ran a rug pull. Capped out at what was it? 1.4 cents back down to 0.00004 cents. I don't know what the market cap was $416,000 at its peak. He owned 80% of that. It's likely that he made a couple $100,000 for saying a prayer yesterday and then scamming everybody. He runs a rug pull every Sunday. That's right. It's legal because Donald Trump is in office, and they're not going to do a goddamn thing about crypto. Yesterday, I guess I can show you this. It's not on the outline, but let me. I'll see if I can find it. Yesterday, this was confusing, and the reason I didn't play this is because yesterday there was the the Twitter account for Cuba. Um, they put up a coin, like they were marketing a coin, and it was a rug pull. It appears that at least what they're saying is that there seems to they seem to think it was hacked. They seem to think that this was somebody else pretending to be Cuba. But if you want to look at their graph, like I want you guys to get used to just seeing these graphs. You don't have to dive into it, but like this is what it looks like when somebody rugs. You have a spike, and then it dies immediately. Let me see if I can find the audio on this. It was wild. Sorry, there are a lot of curse words here. Where's the video? Maybe I can find the media. Where's a video? It's got to be on there. Are they censoring this now? They can't be censoring it now. Okay, here it is, I think. Is that not going to have any sound now?
There we go.
There we go.
Good.
I don't know what a Cuban accent sounds like. I'm not great with accents. I've been told this does not sound like a Cuban accent. You guys can be the judges of that. Where is it? Where's the end? Is that not it? All right, I don't know. I may not be able to find it. Essentially, like there's a video of the guy going, "Come on, guys, pump it, pump it." Oh no, I clicked the wrong thing. And then all of a sudden it tanks as they sold all their shares. They just rug pulled right in front of everybody. This is the new world that we live in, where this type of scam is available. I'm telling you, like, people love Donald Trump. They do. But they're going to get tired of scams. They're going to get really tired of scams. And what's going to happen is these scams are becoming more and more famous. Most people know that, like, the Hawk Tuah girl did this exact same thing. She's being sued. It's killing the careers of influencers everywhere. Like, this stuff is going to keep getting more and more in the news. And then you get to use, oh, you know who did the biggest one? Trump. Trump did the biggest one. I think that it is nearsighted to say that that Donald Trump isn't going to dig his own grave, because he is. He's going to cash out first, but he is going to dig his own grave. And Donald Trump will be the end of the Republican Party as we know it. I'm confident in that. I'm very, very confident that that this will be the end of the GOP. Like, they will have to start over when this is done. I just don't think you can scam people forever. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe people are like, maybe they have more money to be scammed than we thought. This is from the Bulwark. Just a reminder on what Trump actually promised to do on day one. Now, what Trump did on day one was terrifying. For our friends in the LGBTQ community, it's terrifying. For our friends who might have immigrated to this country, it's terrifying. All of it's terrifying. I get that. But here's all the promises he made that he didn't keep.
Day one, if you win.
What do I do? On day one, here's my plan. I will settle the war in Ukraine before I even take office. I'm going to give you a report on drones. Build a missile defense shield around our country. I will work to create the Great American State Fair. We will end inflation because the prices are too high. We will unleash.
How did we miss the Great American State Fair? How did we miss that? I don't even know what he's referencing there. How did I miss that?
American energy, and I will cut your energy prices in half. 50%. On day one, I will tell Pennsylvania energy workers to frack, 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 and drill, 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 baby, drill. We're going to frack, frack, frack. On day one of my new administration, we will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. We will expose the Washington cartel. We will secure our elections.
Look, I think they exposed the Washington cartel. I think it was pretty clear during that propaganda parade who the Washington cartel was. I'm pretty sure we know who they are now. It's a new one. They just used to mostly be located in Silicon Valley, but the cartel is here. Ironically, we're allowed to use the military on the cartel now, right? It'd be a shame if when Donald Trump loses, well, I guess he's not going to lose, doesn't run again. It'd be a shame if we use the military on the cartels, right?
And they will be secure. We will rapidly review the cases of every political prisoner unjustly victimized, and I will sign their pardons on day one. I will sign it on day one. The invasion of savage criminals ends. Close the border. I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. We're going to reclaim our sovereignty. I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III, something nobody else can say. On day one, I'm going to sign a lot of things. My hand will be very sore.
That's it. This is from the Bulwark. You can find them on. You can find the Bulwark on Twitter, and you can check them out there. Yeah, I did see somebody said about Vivek not getting a Doge position. I did see that. I don't know what to make of it. He's clearly running for office in Ohio. Maybe he was pushed out. Maybe he wasn't. It definitely came out from Trump's people associated with Trump that he had worn out his welcome. So maybe that's really what happened, or maybe he just wants to be in politics. I always got the impression that Vivek wanted to be in politics in the first place. Ironically, like Vivek saying to that woman, "Hey, if you want to save Trump, you need me to be in office. You need me to be president." Ironically, that might have been true. It might have been true there. Hey, Maltacross, Tex, I learned something new about you today. Want to know what I learned about Tex today? Appreciate. I won't name names because Tex will go after him. I learned about this. Malta Cross. And remember, Tex was very upset that Elon was using his hand signal yesterday. The Maltese cross was used in Schmatzi War merit crosses and the Iron Cross during World War II. The Maltese cross is a symbol of a religious order, while the Iron Cross was a military award. That merit cross was awarded to civilians and military members who contributed to the Third Reich's war effort. Is that why you chose that? Are you contributing to the Third Reich's war effort here, Tex? Is that why? Or are you going to do like what no, it was just, I just thought it was a cool name. What is it? Let's have Tex tell us here in the chat. What was it, Tex? Was it a cool name? I think what I said yesterday was correct about you. It's not that you have a problem with people being schmatzis. You don't like that people don't like schmatzis. You don't like that people don't like you. You don't like that people don't like your ideology. Anyways, it's weird, right? It's weird yesterday that you were the person who came up here and was defending Elon. Your own screen name is just like it's literally an award given by the schmatzis to civilians like yourself. Yeah, Malta is a country and it's a religious symbol. Fuck off with all of that. You're doing the same shit. Does anybody raise your hand if you believe that the Tex it just was a big fan of the country Malta and the religious symbol? Give me yeah. You're so full of shit, man. We're gonna expose you and all of your friends. Just so you know, like nobody really gives a shit about you, but like we are going to expose you and all your friends in government. You have two ways to view what happened with Elon Musk yesterday. He either did a Sig Heil or he's the dumbest fucking person on earth. Which one is it? Everybody knows not to do that. None of you would do that in any setting. We all know that you can't do that. Elon knows you can't do that. We all know not to make that gesture. And if we do, oh my God, it's like a quick apology. You guys are full of shit, man. And look, this will end the same way as it did in Germany. The cowards will flee. You guys will all look for safe harbor somewhere else. You'll flee. You feel empowered right now, and that's great. But most of the people that put you in power don't know that you're schmatzis. So enjoy it. Enjoy your time in the sun. Enjoy that Elon Musk is pulling the strings of President Trump. Terrific. But the days of you pretending you're not schmatzis are over. Like we call them like we see them now. We call them exactly like we see them. Tex is a schmatzi, and you know, and an admitted one. And the reason that you defended Elon yesterday is because you don't like that people are turning on him for being a schmatzi. You think the schmatzis get a bad rap, and so you don't want them associated with the Holocaust. Speaking of not doing well, anybody see this? Miley Cyrus's dad is not doing well. I don't know what the fuck this was. He was supposed to perform, apparently. I don't know what happened to his voice, but just hear this performance.
I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. Gonna take my horse, old town road. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna.
You guys can't hear? It's just low. Let's see. I can turn it up. Let's see if this helps.
Ain't no more. Y'all can put your hands together now like that. If you encourage about, keep going. They told me to kill as much time as possible, so. Does anybody know the words to Achy Breaky Heart while I'm here? I'll try a little bit. Let's see what happens. Check.
He does sound like Mr. Thomas. That's true.
Hey, is my guitar still on? I think they cut me off. Is my guitar on, guys? I don't hear my guitar anymore. Check.
We're going to sit in all its glory.
I don't hear it. Do y'all hear this? Where's everybody at? Check. Is anyone back there? Can somebody turn my guitar back on? We're going to sing a little bit more.
There we go. Jen, I don't see any of this stuff on YouTube. I certainly don't see that. It doesn't give me any indication of any of that stuff. I also don't know what it means. So we'll just have to deal. Sorry if the YouTube stream doesn't look great today. We'll fix it tomorrow. I don't know how to fix that right now. I'm sure all these people got paid. In fact, I'm 100% sure of it. I meant to show this yesterday. Let me pull it up. But who was it? It was who performed? What was the rapper? Let me find it. Soulja Boy. That's right. Soulja Boy apparently performed, and I just want you to see, like, he got a bunch of pushback on Twitter, and it's just he told the absolute unvarnished truth here.
Nigga, they pay me a bag, nigga. Obama ain't never put no money in my fucking pockets, nigga.
Oops, didn't know it had the N-word in it. Sorry about that. That's not good. I'll just show you the video. I apologize for that. This is just him saying, yeah, nobody ever paid me a bag to perform. I got a bag to perform. All of these people did. Every one of them got an insane amount. And I'm going to guess it was probably laundered through crypto so that nobody could find it. Just gonna guess. Yeah, I mean, Soulja Boy, has he had a song in a long time? What was outside of Superman? What else has he had? I don't think he's had anything new, has he? Yeah, so they'll take it. This was cool. Remember that? Remember how they said that Elon Musk, like we covered this story, but Elon Musk was faking like his gaming credentials. And he did this actually. He's used gaming to like hide things before. He did it. One of the reasons that they said he wasn't Adrian Dittman, like that other Twitter account, is because he was gaming while he was speaking as Adrian Dittman. Well, the gamers are after Elon again, and here's what they found yesterday.
Elon! Wait, Elon, how you logged into the game, Elon? Elon! How you logged into the game? Wait, explain. Explain, Elon. Let's just check. Let's confirm he's still logged in. the average age of this room is fucking crazy, actually. I don't get the friends list. What's the friends list button? I don't have friends. Elon! How are you there? Wait, how are you in the Sulfurix cabins right now, Elon? Nah, Elon, seriously, bro, come on. How?
They caught him. Like the audacity of this guy. Like he's using his paid gamers to play literally while he's sitting there. He must have been playing on his phone, or they had a really high powered PC right there. Maybe it's through his maybe it's Neuralink. Elon, okay, for anybody who's confused by that, this is a gamer in an open world game. So you can see other people who are playing the game currently that are logged in that are playing. So this guy logged into an open world game that would show, if I was playing, it would show me. He looked up Elon, who he has saved as a friend, and Elon was playing the game while he was sitting there. Remember, Elon isn't actually playing the game. He's paying people so that he can call himself one of the 100 best players in the world. He's done this before. He's always claimed he was like an exceptional gamer. I don't know shit about gaming. I've just seen enough videos of the gamers saying like, this guy sucks at this. Like when it's actually him playing, he sucks. But he had somebody maintaining that rank for him while he was at the inauguration. Yeah, it's a video. And that's the thing. Yeah, it's not even like a grift. He's not even making money for that. He's just such a fucking egomaniac that he can't let go. He's just like Trump. When you catch these guys in a lie, they double down on it, and they refuse to answer. And the Elon fanboys, they'll be like, no, there's some explanation for this. Just like the Trump fanboys will come up with an excuse for everything that he did wrong. It's the exact same thing. But the truth about all of these people, and I chose this. I'm gonna be vulnerable real quick. This picture teared me up this morning. The picture I have as my background. And it teared me up because like I felt so shitty. I did not want to be here. I did not want to do this show today. I've felt like garbage all day. I feel like for maybe some of the reasons, I don't know if you guys can. I don't know if if this resonates with you, but like you go between like this sucks. I feel awful about this to man. I shouldn't care so much about this. The world's a beautiful place. I should be involved in the world. But also, like, what if nobody stands up, right? Like, it's this perpetual back and forth. You're like, I'm quitting this shit, and then you're like, I'm right back in the fucking fight just seconds later. That's been my cycle, my brain cycle since the inauguration started yesterday. I saw this picture, and I see Bernie Sanders, who is in a place he doesn't want to be, but he's in that place because that's what he does. And you go, and as a senator, you go and you go to these parties, and nobody gives a shit about Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders doesn't give a shit about any of them. Because Bernie Sanders, and thank you, Ash, for making this graphic, is untouched by influence. And he's one of the only ones. If I get a high-res photo of this, like this will be in my office. I will frame this picture. Because that's to me, that's an American hero. And it's somebody that openly I disagreed with for a long time. If you would have told me in 2015 that like I'd be a Bernie Sanders fan, I would have been like, you're crazy. I'm not a communist. But this is a man who has supported nothing but ideas that will benefit regular people his whole career. And because he wants to help regular people, he's been labeled as a communist, as a socialist, as anti-American. He had a nomination stolen from him from the Hillary Clinton machine. This is somebody that has been not only ostracized by the Republicans, but by his own party too. And he never stopped showing up. And the people of Vermont kept showing up to vote with him or vote for him. And he showed up to debates, and he debated people, and he went on Joe Rogan, and he went anywhere anybody would talk to him. And every time somebody sits down with this man, nobody has a bad word to say about him. And yet, he doesn't have power. Meanwhile, the sellouts here are all shaking each other's hands about how they sold out and they have power now. It's very clear, and it should be very clear to all Republicans in existence right now, that every single person you elected is there for power. They're not there for you. They did absolutely nothing for you yesterday. Nothing. There was not a single solitary executive order that did one thing that will change your lives for the better. Not one. All they did was validate your hatred and validate your bigotry and say, don't worry, those things that in society that people have been criticizing you for calling you a bigot, we, by executive order, we don't think that anymore. Guess what, bitches? You're still bigots. We can still say it. Society didn't change. Society didn't change overnight. And you want us to be like, oh, you guys have to do what we said now because our guy's president. Get fucked. Get all the way fucked. Society still doesn't agree with you, and we're gonna pick off the remaining sane members of your party, and you'll never get them back. Because I promise you, there's Republicans out there, and I've talked to some of them who watched what happened yesterday and went, fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck. What is going on? Why are we having a schmatzy rally? And then they're like, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just because it's indoors. And then like the most prominent person does a schmatzy salute. How about Are we back here? Buffering. Hold, please. We're back. All right. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I just wanted to this picture here. This. Let's go. I thought this picture was telling yesterday. Yeah, everybody can hear me good? Great. Donald Trump brought on people that were hostages that were released by I believe they were released by the Palestinians. I wasn't paying super close attention. I'm pretty sure and then he made them sit there as props for 40 fucking minutes. For 40 minutes, these people had to sit there while Donald Trump did a campaign rant. He talked about windmills. He talked about the enemy within. He talked about the intelligence agents. Everything. Is my voice all fucked up? What is going on? I don't know how to fix it. Swipe in and out. Okay, swipe in and out. TikTok. Sorry. Okay. Enjoy it. But Donald Trump sat there and made these people sit there for 40 minutes. He does not care about you. He does not care about them. And I think that that's a video that we should share over and over and over again. That he used everybody as props. He used Corey Comparatori. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say his last name. He used him as a prop. Donald Trump uses everybody as a prop. And then once you're up there as a prop, he goes on rants that makes it look like you agree with him. This is like fascist shit 101. You bring up somebody as a prop that you've helped out, and then you force them to be part of your next speech, which for the history books, they'll always be like, oh, those people will always be remembered as standing behind him while he said crazy shit. That's how they'll always be remembered, which is pretty fucking wild and pretty fucking disgusting and pretty fucking on brand. Like that, it is who he is. And I just think that I think people are going to get tired of this. You know how tired you guys are yesterday? How tired do you think the people are that have to defend this shit? Shut up, Tex. Mute Tex for the rest of the live. Tex is done. I don't give a shit, Tex. You don't get to sit up here and lie to people all day long. Trump was asked yesterday about the TikTok ban. And for anybody who thought that there was any reason Trump changed his mind about TikTok other than money, just listen to this.
The U.S. essentially would be paid for doing that half of the value of TikTok. Would there be a private sector owner as well? Could be a lot. Tell you what, every rich person has called me.
To be clear, he has now doubled down on that. When it came out that like, oh yeah, it's too quiet. Sorry. I'll start it over. People said that when Donald Trump said America should get 50% of TikTok, they were like, oh, it's going to be just investors. He doubles down on this.
The U.S. essentially would be paid for doing that half of the value of TikTok.
Would there be a private sector owner as
Could
well?
be,
in the
yeah,
US?
could be a lot. Tell you what, every rich person has called me about TikTok.
You wanted to block TikTok. Why did you change your mind?
Because I got to use it. And remember, TikTok is largely about kids, young kids. If China's going to get information about young kids, I don't know.
Are you
I think,
Chinese?
to be honest with you, I think we have bigger problems than that.
He said, fuck those kids. I got a bag. The problem was it was largely about kids. And if China's going to get information on kids, yeah, there you got bigger fish to fry. He literally, in the Oval Office yesterday, said, yeah, fuck the kids. I know we said it was about kids, but it turns out it was just about me getting paid. Where are those TikTok people? Where are the TikTok people that wanted it banned, that were on the Republican side? Are they going to stand up? Because I would advocate that if you have a member of Congress that serves you and they wanted the TikTok ban because it protected kids, I would send them this video and say, why does Trump say fuck them kids?
But you know, when you take a look at telephones that are made in China and all the other things that are made in China, military equipment made in China, TikTok, I think TikTok is not their biggest problem. But there's big value in TikTok if it gets approved. If it doesn't get approved, there's no value. So if we create that value, why aren't we entitled to like half?
Well, one, you didn't create value. He's doing what Trump and all vulture capitalists do. They're trying to take an established, profitable thing and figure out why they get a portion of it. Like, this is mob shakedown shit, right? You know, like in every episode of The Sopranos, when they go in and they go to, like, the deli, and they're like, hey, we need our cut. And the deli's like, we don't have your cut. And then they get beat up. Remember that? Yeah. That's what he's doing. He's just doing a mob shakedown from the White House. Listen, look at these. Look at these. Look at these MAGAs in here. You guys don't know what the fuck to do. Look at the whataboutism. Every time a MAGA comes in the comments and we point out something Trump did wrong, every fucking one of them is going to go, but what about, and I think that should be everybody's, like, I know we passed New Year's resolution, but maybe the New Year's resolution this year is don't allow anybody to do MAGA or do whataboutism. Don't let your friends do whataboutism. When they say whataboutism, just say, no, thank you. No, thank you. I didn't order whataboutism. I'd like you to address what the fuck I just said, which they can't do. Because how do you address that? Donald Trump's been telling us China is the enemy forever. He gets paid off by China 2 days before the election to the tune of billions of dollars. And he's like, yeah, China's not really, maybe China's not so bad. You know, yeah, they already have our phones. We're already fucked anyway. So why not make a little money off of it? It's literally what he just said. Like, why not cash out on this? And by the way, if he if he negotiates a deal and China gives the United States government half and we own half of TikTok, cool. He's now the president who ushered in socialism. Great news. But he's also the president who is trying to do what Putin did. Putin and the Russian government, they own 50% of the privately traded or the publicly traded companies in Russia. 50%. They get access to it. You don't get to have 100% owned company in Russia. And then where does that money wind up? In the pockets of oligarchs. I wonder what oligarchs might profit. I wonder what oligarchs might want to buy this. Did Trump say anything about that? Oh, yeah, in that clip, I remember now, he said, you wouldn't believe the amount of rich people who have called me. It's just, they just want the money, and he's going to hand it over to them. Don't worry, oligarchs, we'll give the value to you. Nobody's saying TikTok is China. ByteDance is the parent company. ByteDance is a Chinese company. This was always about ByteDance, but I guess I can say ByteDance. I'm sorry that my words weren't clear enough. I'm deeply sorry for that. This was cool. I found that this is called the People's City Council. And I'm going to have Jen drop this in the Discord, the link for this. This is a fund. Firefighters in California who are incarcerated are getting paid $5.80 a day to put their life on the line to fight these fires and save houses for rich people. This is a list, and the link is in there. You can actually go and you can donate, and you can put money on their what do you call it, on their books? I forget what you call it, on their commissary. You can donate to their commissary and help these people out that are all fighting the fires and making $5 a day. $5 a day. Yeah, it's slavery. It's slavery. But shout out to People's City Council Los Angeles, and then this group, which is Funds for Guaranteed Income. The link is right there. But if you want the link, Jen or whoever's covering the outline today will drop that in the Discord. Cool story, though. Also, maybe we shouldn't do slavery in this country anymore. By the way, for-profit prisons, that's going to be on the upswing here in this administration. Those for-profit prisons, they lobbied the shit out of Donald Trump. We want more people in jail. You think that's misinformation? What's misinformation about that? You don't think that they're fighting the fires there? I don't know, that would be misinformation. I don't know. All right. Turns out, despite everything Trump said, he can't end a war in 24 hours. I checked this morning, and it turns out that there is still a war in Ukraine. But here's Donald Trump promising that he was going to undo this. Remember, that's what everybody told us. When you guys debated with us, you told us he's going to end the wars. All you need is a strong man. He's just going to end the wars.
Could end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours.
Yes, I
How
could.
would you do that?
I know Zelensky very well.
I'll end that war between those two countries in 24 hours. It won't even take that long. I will get the war ended. I'll stop all of those lives from being wasted and lost. And there'll be no more bombing of Ukraine. There'll be no more bombing of Russia. And everybody will be happy.
It can be negotiated, I think, within 24 hours. It really has to be done from the office of the president. And you have to get them both in a room. And there are things you can say to each one of them, which I won't reveal now, which will guarantee that this war will end immediately.
That to get us out.
It's almost like his magic words didn't work. I mean, what do you think the magic words were? What do you think those words were that he couldn't tell us? And why didn't they work? 24 hours later. Yeah, he didn't get him in a room. He didn't get him on a phone call. In fact, Putin basically said, yeah, fuck off. We'll do what we want. And Putin knows he doesn't have the backbone to go at Putin. He's not going to do shit against Putin. All Donald Trump is doing now is like appealing to Putin. Hey, come on, man. This is really bad for your country. Don't you know that if you ended the war, it wouldn't be bad anymore? like nobody tried that before. Nobody tried to be like, hey, Putin, people in your country are dying. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, he kills his own people. Why does Putin give a fuck if people die? He doesn't. Turns out we didn't end that war, did we? So the problem that we have is that Donald Trump ran literally on lies and promises that there was no chance he was going to keep. And they were so specific that just asking people, like, at the time, like, how's he going to do that? Well, you'll see. Now we're seeing. What did he do on day one? He cut in his billionaire buddies. He cut in the billionaires, and then he gave a nod to the Christian nationalists who wrote Project 2025, and he went after marginalized communities. That's what he did on day one. He didn't. It wasn't the American people. It wasn't the generic. You know, when we talked about Project 2025, when we talked about these oligarchs, we were told it was the fringe. We were told that he was just appeasing them. Now that's all he's doing. Project 2025 is in. Project 2025 is happening. Didn't you listen to that speech yesterday? That was Project 2025. It was I think like what's the word for it? It was like a prophecy coming true, right? That I doubted. I'll be honest, like, I've always been afraid of Project 2025, but like, I remember the first presidency, and I remember the stuff that he promised and the crazy things he said, and then he didn't do them. And I thought, like, maybe there's a chance that he's just doing the same shit. And on day one of his first presidency, he backtracked on a whole bunch of shit. The only thing he backtracked on this time was the stuff for, like, the everyday people. He didn't do anything about groceries. He didn't do anything about inflation. He didn't do anything about housing. It was just like handouts to his buddies and pardoning a bunch of criminals. I sent a message to my mom this morning that I don't think I'm going to get an answer to, but she told me that the reason she voted for Trump this time around was because of Mike Pence, which didn't make any sense. And I just sent her a video of people chanting "Hang Mike Pence" and said, "Now what? Like, are we ready to believe yet that this person doesn't give a shit about Mike Pence or Christians or values? They just pardoned a bunch of Jan Sixers." I'll actually pull that up here. I wanted to show you Michael Fanone. He was one of the police officers, one of the Capitol police officers. He's testified in front of Congress multiple times. It's a little bit long video. It's a little bit of a long video, but I think this is important to sit with, and I think it's important for MAGA to be forced to sit with this whenever we can. They need to hear this. This is a police officer. This is law and order. This is a guy who just showed up to work thinking it was a normal day and wound up getting the shit beat out of him. And eventually, he saw some of those people who beat him go to prison, and he must have felt like, okay, at least my country has my back. And now we're here. And I want you to hear what he had to say to Anderson Cooper.
Michael, I appreciate you being with us. I'm wondering when you heard the news and what's going through your mind tonight?
I just heard the news from your producers a few moments ago. I mean, the only thing that's going through my mind right now is that this is what the American people voted for. Donald Trump has been promising these pardons ever since he announced his candidacy in Waco, Texas, the scene of one of the most notorious battles between American law enforcement and the American extremist movement that resulted in the death of numerous law enforcement officers. Thanks, America.
This feels like a betrayal to you.
Oh, I have been betrayed by my country. Rest assured, I have been betrayed by my country, and I've been betrayed by those that supported Donald Trump. Whether you voted for him because he promised these pardons or for some other reason, you knew that this was coming, and here we are. Tonight, 6 individuals who assaulted me as I did my job on January 6th, as did hundreds of other law enforcement officers, will now walk free. 6 individuals who have threatened my life and who have made threats towards my family members, as well as countless other January 6th defendants who have threatened me because they see me as a spokesperson for law enforcement for this event. My family, my children, and myself are less safe today because of Donald Trump and his supporters.
When you
Oh shit, I'm muted. There we go. Might as well get it started with the muted. Fuck, might as well. Might as well with the first mute on the new platform. That's not bad. I think there's a lot of people that feel this way. Exactly how he feels, that like they are less safe now. And some of those people, it might be bullshit, and some of those people, it's real. But there are people in this country who now are less safe because Donald Trump is in office. And the fact that it's law enforcement from the law and order candidate is heartbreaking.
You hear the president of the United States, Donald Trump, talking about back the blue, or his supporters saying that they back the blue. You don't buy that?
No political party supports law enforcement. That's just a fact. Political parties support public safety, but they don't support police officers, and they don't understand the sacrifices that we make on behalf of the American people. That's been my experience as a 20-year career law enforcement officer in a major metropolitan city in this country. That being said, right now, I think that the Republican Party uh, owns a monopoly on hypocrisy when it comes to supporting or their supposed support of law enforcement. Because tonight, the leader of the Republican Party pardoned hundreds of violent cop assaulters.
You were pardoned today, and we should know President Biden said it was not for committing a crime, it was for stepping forward to testify about January 6th. Did you know about that in advance? What do you think about that? And are you concerned for the safety of your family?
I had no communication with the White House or anyone else, for that matter, regarding a potential pardon or presidential pardon. I mean, all I can say is that I think it's a sad commentary on where we are as a nation that a sitting president thought it necessary to issue a preemptive pardon to a witness in a congressional investigation, because the subject of that investigation is now the president, and it promised to pursue politically motivated revenge. Again, it's just more examples of the outrageous behavior of the current president of the United States. As far as concern for my family and my family's safety, I've been concerned for myself and my family's safety ever since I testified before Congress. If you remember, I didn't even make it through my congressional testimony before I received my first threat from a member of the American public who called me and threatened my life literally as I was giving testimony. And those threats have continued to this day against both myself and members of my family. In recent months, my mother has been swatted, a 76-year-old woman who's guilty of nothing other than having a son, a police officer who responded to the Capitol on January 6th. And she's also had human feces thrown on her while she was raking leaves in her front yard. This is who we are as a nation. This is what we have become, and it has been further exacerbated by Donald Trump. As I've said many times before, we are self-centered, we are violent, and we are indifferent to the suffering of our neighbors.
Michael, I appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you.
Like, nobody should feel this level of unsafe. I think you're seeing journalists now, specifically journalists on our side of the aisle, who are going to great lengths to insulate themselves, to protect their communications, because I don't believe that there's any level that Donald Trump and his cronies won't go to. I don't think that, like, when I call Mike Davis a bitch on Twitter now, I don't think that there's a 0% chance that Mike Davis comes after me, and that Donald Trump lets him do it. Retaliation, retribution, silencing of their critics, it's what they do. It's what he's been trying to do. Donald Trump has tried to silence every single outlet who's ever criticized him. Either he sues them or he convinces his followers to turn on them, and he's done it. If you worked for CNN pre-Trump, you could go places and you were fairly safe. Post-Trump, you don't even want to put a CNN badge on. There's the guy from the Bulwark, I forget his name. You guys can help me with his name. I was listening to a podcast he did it was an article he wrote about last year at CPAC. He went and they pulled his credentials. They weren't allowing any. Tim Miller, thank you guys. Tim Miller wrote this story that previously he had gone to CPAC as a journalist. And as somebody who's viewed as on the left, though, I'd say Tim Miller's very much a centrist. he went and bought a ticket as just a regular person, and he said the difference between how he was treated was night and day, and he was afraid to tell people that that he was Tim Miller. He was afraid to tell people where he worked. He was a Republican, you're right. And him seeing like the reaction from to the reaction from certain people to other journalists just because they saw a journalist. Like this fight that Donald Trump has put us in, this division that he's caused between us and our friends, is literally truth versus untruth. It is fighting for two competing realities. And the reason that we say it looks an awful lot like fascism is because the guy leading is lying. He's lying about everything. He's still. We had two guests yesterday. I talked to whatever her face was for an hour and a half, and she couldn't say Donald Trump lost in 2020. How do we get past that? You don't. The truth of the matter is, like, we're in a country that's fucked right now. We're in the midst of a small civil war. And there's one person that has more power than the rest. And there's one person that has more loyalty than the rest. And there are going to be people who wind up being casualties of this war. There will be people who lose their lives. There will be people who lose their jobs. There will be people who lose their careers. There will be people who lose their citizenship. There will be people who are jailed. Dissidents will be punished. There's no question about that. And what Donald Trump just did in releasing these January 6 hostages, that he calls them, is basically said, you can fight for me. Don't worry, we got the brown shirts now. Why do you think he released all the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys? Why do you think he's giving them full pardons? Look at the response from here's the QAnon shaman. It's what he posted on Twitter yesterday. I just got the news from my lawyer. I got a pardon, baby. Thank you, President Trump. Now I'm going to buy some motherfucking guns. I love this country. God bless America. J6ers are getting released and justice has come. Everything done in the dark will come to light. Nothing was done in the dark. We watched you guys attack the Capitol in broad daylight on video. We watched it. Jacob Chansley has blamed Trump. He said that he changed his mind. It's like, yeah, I was there because I was lied to. Most of these people said they were lied to. Why did Trump pardon them? Who benefited from that? Why? Somebody tell if there's any Republicans left here. Like, who benefited from that pardon? Outside of these people, why did Republicans want that pardon? Because they have chosen not to believe that Trump and Republicans were behind January 6th. Trump yesterday repeated the same lie that Nancy Pelosi orchestrated January 6th. Why are all these people saying thank you, Trump, then? They all seem like they're Trump supporters. How did Nancy Pelosi orchestrate this? The similarities between this and Germany in the 1930s are pretty apparent. They're very similar. And it starts with a country willing to believe lies because they're scared. And when people are scared, they'll believe anything. Let me read comments. Just a reminder below me, there's the Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. We do rely currently on your generosity to keep this show going. I appreciate those who have come on board as new subscribers and people who have, I don't know if any super chats have come through yet, but there are ways to donate. If you can't donate, please just share the live, like the live, engage with the chat. All that stuff helps us get pushed out a little bit more. Max says, keep it up, Jay. Why do I only get sick on the weekdays? I must have a weakened immune system. Bree says, to make a comment on the J6 officer, we have always been this country. People are just now finding out what Black and LGBTQIA plus people already knew. This has always been the reality, and it's been ignored because it didn't impact them. Welcome to the fight, everybody. That's probably true. That's real true. Brielle says, good morning, Bay. I like what you're choosing to do today. Now for everyone else, please stop getting distracted and focus on what matters. There's no time to waste. And white people, it's your time to be on the front lines. Let's go, white. Let's go, white people. We got this. Ryan says, please make sure you always take time off if you need it. We will be here when you get back. I appreciate that, Ryan. I do. When I need it, I take time off. But if we're being 100% honest, every time I've ever not wanted to do a show and I did the show, I wound up feeling better, and I was happy that I did it. It does help me to do this daily. Kristen says, thank you. Ops were totally derailing you yesterday, and I left and missed your coverage of the executive orders. Appreciate you, Jay, and your team and your show. They were. Those aren't the kind of, you don't want the kind of ops that are going to come up and defend January 6th and defend schmaltzy salutes. By the way, let me just be one time finally clear on that. I think what Elon did was absolutely on purpose. Do I know that he's a schmaltzy? No. Were his grandparents? Yes. Was his dad? Yes. Does he openly and financially support the current schmaltzy party in Germany? Absolutely yes. So whatever you want to do with that information, do it. I don't give a shit that he gave the salute. I give a shit that there's millions of Americans who won't even consider the possibility that a man who comes from schmaltzy lineage and endorses and pays for schmaltzys all over the world might just be a schmaltzy. What frustrates me is that you guys are willing to ignore that so quickly, and then to send things from like the ADL, like we trust the fucking ADL anymore. Well, the ADL said, I don't give a fuck what the ADL said. The ADL has sat by and watched a G side happen. Like, sorry, the ADL has lost their the trust from the American people when it comes to protecting people from a G side. Sorry, ADL, get new leadership. But ADL running cover for Elon saying, well, we don't really know if that's what it was. Stay out of the fight then. If you don't know, shut the fuck up. But don't come out and be like, just to be clear, we don't know. We know why you did that. We know exactly why you did that, ADL. We know exactly why AIPAC does this kind of shit. We know why Fetterman's probably going to switch to be a Republican right now. We know what you're doing. Nobody gives a shit about your stances when it comes to atrocities around the world anymore. You're just Republicans now. You're just generic Republicans. Gmar says, pull, pump, dump, repeat. Am I in the gym or in my bedroom? You decide. That might have been from yesterday. No, it was from today. Thanks, brother. Soli says, just because. Thanks, Soli. I appreciate that, my friend. Always good. You got to be freezing your ass off in Boston. It was so cold today here. I always assume however cold it is here, it's way colder other places. No matter where you are, it must be colder than it is here. Let's get back to the show. Another thing, just to remind you, just to let you guys know, like this show's not always going to be 3.5 hours. Sometimes we're going to run out of business. I wanted to point this out too, just because Pam Bondi is not the Attorney General who is making decisions. Listen to Pam Bondi just a few days ago tell us the plan for J6. And you tell me, like, is Pam Bondi even in on this shit? Listen to what she said about the J6 prisoners.
We will look and we will advise. I will look at every case on a case.
So
let me finish. On a case-by-case basis.
Okay, good.
And I abhor violence to police officers.
Follow up.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
So will it be your advice to the president, Mr. President? I know you said you want to issue hundreds of pardons on day one. Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
and
for
will
the
you be able to
pardons, as well
will
as
you
the
be able to
ongoing
review hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file.
Full pardon or commutations?
Full pardon.
What's the point of the Attorney General? Who gave him the advice then? Who looked at those cases and decided to pardon? They're all so full of shit. Every one of them's full of shit. They lie to you all the time. They have no problem lying. That's the Attorney General of the United States, had no problem lying. She wasn't even, if she was consulted before, and she's lying on that stage. If she wasn't consulted, then she's just there to do what Donald Trump says. Those are like her those are the two options. Either they respect her and they will listen to her, which I doubt because that's a woman and it's Donald Trump, or she's there to do what Donald Trump says, which is what Donald Trump does with women. He puts women in place who will do what he says. So, she isn't, yeah, that's true. She's not confirmed yet. I'll be surprised if she doesn't get confirmed because she has like the She at least has the credentials of somebody who can be confirmed. And there's enough people in Congress who don't want to do things just because it's partisan. I'd be surprised if she wasn't confirmed. Rubio got confirmed. I think it was like 99-0 or something like that. And then just one more thing. Here's what Trump said. This clip is awesome. This is from the January 6th committee. Adam Kinzinger put this up today, but this is a rough cut. Like, this is before they edited the actual video. This is Trump trying to figure out how to condemn the people at January 6th. And like, we should have known at this moment. Now, remember, what came out of this video was Donald Trump condemning the people on January 6th. But look at how hard it was for him to even say, like, oh, I lost the election, or oh, these people are criminals. Like, look at how much he changes the script that he's given.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack yesterday. And to those who broke the law, you will pay. You do not represent our movement. You do not represent our country. And if you broke the law, you can't say that. I'm not going to. I already said you will pay. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defied the seat of justice. It's defiled, right? See, I can't see it very well.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Couldn't see it. That's why I said diaspora too, because I couldn't see it. It was too far away. It's what happens when we say a word wrong. It's just too far away. Diaspora? Oh, I got closer. Now I know it's diaspora. Got it.
Okay, I'll do this. I'm going to do this. Let's go. But this election is now over. Congress has certified the results. I don't want to say the election's over. I just want to say Congress has certified the results without saying the election's over, okay?
But Congress is certain. Now Congress is
Yeah, right.
Now Congress
I didn't say over, so let me see. Go to the paragraph before. Okay?
Yeah. He always was going to do this, and Donald Trump's aware. He knows he can't say that he lost the election because, like, that's what he does, right? Like, that's what his whole shtick is built on. I'm a victim. I didn't lose. They stole the election from me. They're corrupt. Not me. I'm not corrupt. Me that did coup. I'm not corrupt. It's the people that stole the election from me, and so I can never admit it. It's the same reason none of these other Republicans can admit it. It's something that they all know in their head, but what they, sorry, I saw somebody say play it again. I'll play it again in a minute. But the problem is they have built Donald Trump and this messaging up to a scenario where there's so many lies that they tell that they won't acknowledge, that I do believe that they're afraid. I think every one of them is afraid to say, you know what, he lost. Because everybody publicly who has ever come forward and said he lost their position. And that's why I don't think it's very important to engage with the MAGA content creators. That's why I don't think it's important. Because all you're going to do is lose. You can't win. You can't sway a mind. Right? They're going to stick to their lies, and they're going to find something that they think you said wrong, and they're going to live and die on that one thing. And they'll go in their little back rooms, and they'll jack each other off and tell each other how great they were for never admitting something that they said was wrong. That's where we're at. They're not worth engaging with anymore. They're just not. Counter content is the game. Counter content. Take their content, stitch it, and then don't let them up in your live. Don't engage with them in your live. We'll play the game that they play. We're just not going to give you a chance to explain your bullshit anymore. Notice how nobody goes to those lives? It's possible that those of us on the left side of the aisle, specifically on TikTok, who garner large audiences, it's possible that us bringing those people on and platforming them helped them. I don't know. I'd have to see the data. But I will tell you this. Everybody on that side of the aisle, every big content creator, every big host on that side of the aisle, they sure as shit don't debate. And if they do, they make sure it's a debate that they can win against college students or what Jimmy Dore does now, where he just like tries to find like a hot girl and make her seem dumb. Let's go to their platforms. They want people, we'll go to their platforms. We'll make them look bad. But platforming idiots doesn't work. They're never going to change. Like Drew's still here. Fucking Drew's still here. I think it's important to highlight that. And yeah, I think a lot of you say I changed my mind. I did change my mind. After the election, I thought we can work with these people. And some people we can work with. And for those people that we can work with, I don't know if Dusty's here. Shout out Dusty if you're here. I've enjoyed conversations with you. Some of those people, yeah, maybe we can work with, but we're gonna be real fucking selective from now on. Real fucking selective. I'm not gonna feel shitty about myself all day because I argued with a schmatzi who's trying to pretend that they're not a schmatzi. When you guys start being honest about what you believe, you can come back. But you've got to show up with the armband. You got to show up in your brown uniform and say, this is who I am. You don't get to pretend that you're not who you are anymore. You come up, you tell us who you're bigoted against. Tell us why you hate immigrants. Tell us why you hate LGBTQ people. Tell us why you hate black people. Tell us why you hate women. Just tell us all those things. Then you can stay up here and we'll have a conversation. But no more lying about it. You don't get to lie about being bigots anymore. And to the women and the members of the LGBTQ community who run around with that group, you're the first to go. As they insulate, as MAGA insulates, you're the first to go. And when you come back, we're going to say, tell us why you hate women. Tell us why you hate immigrants. Tell us why. On to the next part. Let me check messages real quick. There is a way. I don't know if Jen's going to come up today. I think she might have figured out a way to do it, but I just realized I don't know how to even know if she's requesting to come up, so I'm not sure. I'll check my messages here in a second. Jeremy says, thanks for all the hard work and continuing the fight. Thank you. Katrina says, thanks for all you do. You keep me sane. Thank you, Katrina. I hope there's more people in your life that help you stay sane than just me. I did that one. Thank you, Sully. Shoot, where did it go? All right. Got it. Jen says she's trying to come up. I don't know. I don't even know where I would get an alert from that, Jen. We may have to try this out tomorrow. The other part I'm going to say about this is that I have a remarkable research team, and they put a lot of work into this. And I saw their reactions a little bit yesterday when we derail from the content that we work on and we go back to like the bullshit arguments. I still think maybe that there's a place for that. I think that perhaps the people who are staying and debating on TikTok, I think maybe there's a place for that. Maybe we can help, but we're just not going to be that anymore. Like, we're going to be a group of people who puts out information that nobody else is putting out, and we're going to tell stories that nobody else is telling, and maybe that can be used as ammunition going on. But I just don't think it's sustainable to do content and debates. It's too draining. I don't think I can respect the people that I work with by ignoring the content that they put hours of work into for a debate. Yeah. Elon Yahtzee status confirmed. He knew what he was doing. He 100% knew what he was doing. That's the thing. Like, I stole it from Vosh, but Vosh tweeted out last night, like, either he's the biggest moron on earth or he's a schmatzi. And either way, he shouldn't be there. Logging out of all Meta apps. I don't really use the Meta apps either, so that's fine. I want to get another portion of an interview from Trump yesterday. When we say, when we're like, how did Joe Rogan get radicalized and start saying dumb shit? Like, how did Sean Ryan get radicalized and start saying dumb shit? I think that this right here is this clip right here is proof that Donald Trump is a dumb person, and that Donald Trump requires very little evidence to convince him of anything. I want you to hear this interaction he had about Spain.
Thank you, sir.
What can we expect of the countries in NATO that spend the least amount of money, like Spain, France below the 5%.
Spain is very low. And yet, are they a BRICS nation?
What?
They're a BRICS nation, Spain. You know what a BRICS nation is? You'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, you don't know. Because, spoiler, Spain's not a BRICS nation. They're not one of the countries included in BRICS. And I'm going to guess that Donald Trump doesn't know what BRICS is, but one of these crypto bros got his ear. Yeah, you know how like all the dumbest people we've debated on TikTok are like, have you heard of BRICS? Remember Eric? Remember Eric would be like, do you know anything about BRICS? And they're making their own currency. Trump made his own currency yesterday, and he's arguing about BRICS. This is what they do. They create this imaginary boogeyman of BRICS so they can justify why they make their own currency. See how easy? It's so easy to play. Somebody said, I know Trump can't read, but he's not dumb. He is dumb. He is dumb, but like confidence can overcome all of that. Most of what Donald Trump is doing right now is just a nod to his confidence. Nobody can tell him no. And so all these people have just chosen, like, we'd rather be on the side of power and look dumb than the other way around, than look smart and be powerless. This is dumb. This is dumb. Spain is not a BRICS nation, and he doesn't know what BRICS is. But somebody told him that BRICS was some way for this new world order, and then they probably used that to say, like, oh, we should do our own currency. If BRICS is going to do it, then we can do it.
But and if the BRICS nations want to do that, that's okay. But we're going to put at least a 100% tariff on the business they do with the United States. You know what the BRICS is, right? You guys know. You know what I'm saying, right?
Nobody knows what he's saying. Poor Spain. Spain's got to be like, what the fuck? You're going to put tariffs on our wine now? We're not even part of BRICS. Not even part of it. I don't know if that was a planted question. I don't know why Spain came up there or why nobody in there was like, hey, could you explain? I want somebody in the White House press pool to just ask follow-up questions. That should be their only job. It's like, excuse me, I don't know what BRICS is. Can you explain it? Well, you'll find out. Look it up. Look it up. That's what he said. He has no clue. He has no clue what BRICS is. I'm trying to remember all the BRICS countries. It's like Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Russia, Iran. What are the BRICS countries? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, and cuts off right at the end, and the UAE. Trump's doing a lot of business with the UAE for somebody who's totally opposed to BRICS. A lot of business over there at UAE. How come all of his oligarchs do so much business with these UAE countries? Maybe he's getting played by them too. Maybe he's not in on it. He's been the one sticking point for me this entire time of trying to figure out like the tech exit. I've tried to figure out how Trump fits into all of this exactly. I think he might just be getting played. I think that might be what it is. He might not know any of this because like he's criticizing BRICS, but the people that he's bringing into office with him are like they're all BRICS buddies, BRICS brothers. Oh, that's not bad. Trademark BRICS brothers. Somebody make it. One of the first times I ever tried to like my friend and I, we had like a sports podcast and we tried to branch off into, we were going to do like books. We were going to read a book and then do a podcast on it. We were going to call it Books Brothers. We even stole their logo. We never once did a single podcast for it, but we made a logo, which again we just stole. But I think I like BRICS Brothers. Yeah, like the suits. Exactly. Like the thing that no MAGA wear, except for their oligarch overlords. Trump's issued executive orders on the border. The Hill has a breakdown of all the executive orders that he pushed through here. I just want to cover it a little bit. Monday night, signed an executive order authorizing the military to draft a plan for sending troops to the southern border. I don't think this is going to get a lot of pushback from Americans. I think even like moderate Democrats this is going to be something that they just kind of brush off. And I get it. I get why they brush it off because they're like, it's the border. It doesn't affect us. But the mere idea of the president of the United States putting boots on the ground, military boots on the ground in country is terrifying. And my guess is that they're using this as a test run. Trump is going to use executive authority and declare a state of emergency on the border, which he did before in his last presidency, and Biden did the same thing. But I think he's using this as a test run to be able to activate the military. And if he can get it done with this on the border when there's no real current state of emergency, especially one that can't be fixed by Congress, then then they can take crime, they can do whatever, they can take. I've got a Mr. Global video here in a minute that'll talk about one of the other ways that they're going to abuse executive power. That's my guess is why they're doing it this way. The order authorizes NORTHCOM, one of 11 combat centers, to repel forms of invasion, including unlawful mass migration, narcotic trafficking, human smuggling, and trafficking, and other criminal activities. The way that this is presented, I don't think it's going to be like most Americans aren't going to push back on this. Threats against our nation's sovereignty continue today, and it is essential that the armed forces staunchly continue to participate in the defense of our territorial integrity and sovereignty. That's where you lose me. Why? Why is it essential? Why not hire more border patrol? Why use the military? I mean, like, why use the military? Why not deputize people into border? Why not hire a bunch of inactive National Guard troops? Why not hire a bunch of former veterans? If it's the training that you want at the border, and if it's the military type people that you want at the border, there's options for that outside of using the United States military. That's why I think it's a test run. The Pentagon said in a statement that it was fully committed to carrying out the orders from our commander-in-chief, which, of course, they should do. They're supposed to listen to the commander-in-chief. Does not establish how many or which type of troops would be deployed, whether active duty, reserve, or National Guard. Trump has pledged on the campaign trail to deploy active duty troops, though. So if he's going to follow through on his campaign promise, these are going to be active duty troops that will be stationed on the border. I could also see a scenario where he hires somebody like Eric Prince, private military contractor, to step in here as well. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Trump removed a female leader from the military today. bystander border Bobby. Yeah, send him in. Wouldn't that be great if they're like, Bobby, we need you at the border, but you can't have TikTok anymore. Sorry about the glitchiness. I see that my camera's real glitchy there. Sorry about that. We're working out the bugs. Here was an interesting part. Now, Mark Milley on Biden's way out got a pardon from Biden. And Trump was pissed about it. Trump is so mad about this Milley thing. First of all, if you happen to get into a debate with a MAGA and they're upset about this, don't let them get away with the same shit that they're all doing on social media. Don't let them get away with, oh, why would you pardon them if they didn't commit a crime? Make them tell you what crime Mark Milley committed, because I'd like to know. I'd like to see what he did. Kate Dennis, sorry, turn your phone sideways. You'll be able to see me better. But unfortunately, I would rather be on other platforms than TikTok. So we're making the platform look a little better on YouTube and Twitch. So just turn your phone to the side and you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Milley, at times, here's what he's did. Here's the beef he's had with Trump. Responded forcefully to Trump's comments, taking a shot at Trump in his farewell speech as Joint Chiefs Chairman when he said, "We don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator." Milley called Trump fascist to the core in comments in Bob Woodward's book. He said, "No one has ever been as dangerous to this country as Donald Trump." Milley told Woodward he was concerned Trump would take action against him, saying the president was a walking, talking advertisement of what he was going to try to do. In Woodward's book, Peril, he shared concerns about Trump's mental stability and national security concerns. Trump appointed Milley to the chair in 2019, where they had a rocky start during the racial justice rioting in the nation's capital. I don't know why we're calling that rioting. This is Fox, that's why. Milley reportedly had a shouting match with Trump over deploying the active duty military, using the active duty military on protesters. Remember, the military is the reason Trump wasn't able to activate the military last time. They're like, we can't do this. We're not allowed to use the military for whatever the fuck we want. And he got into a shouting match with Trump. Trump was thwarted fully from deploying troops by several top officials, including then Secretary of Defense Mark Esper. None of those officials who stopped him from using military force before are back for this administration, by the way. Every one of them is on a shit list. During the rioting, Milley also appeared with Trump for a photo opportunity at Lafayette Square near the White House, which Milley then apologized for, and Trump got upset at that. And then the one thing that Trump has said is treason, is that Milley reportedly reassured Chinese officials there would be no threat to China. That's hollow now. If Trump would have stuck to that claim that Milley reaching out to China was treason, then we would have to hold Trump to that standard. Because Trump, since he's left office and before he got in office, and Elon Musk and Jared Kushner and Kash Patel and all these, they've all had contacts with foreign leaders saying, don't worry, when we're in office, like we'll take care of it. And by the way, the Bidens, they're the real threat. So that rings pretty hollow to me. It's also not treason. Let me check messages from Jen real quick. Oh, thank you. I don't know what that was, but that was a sound. Nothing from Jen. Let's see. Jeremy says, thanks for all the hard work and continuing the fight. Did I do that one already? Did I do that? I might have done that one already. Yedis said he had Milley's picture taken down in the Pentagon. Of course he did. He's such a thin-skinned little bitch. Amanda says, go Birds, glad you're still here. Thank you, Amanda. Tony says, finally seeing things like I do took long enough. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't know if I see things like you do, Tony. I still think you're a little more reactionary than me, but that's fine. Yeah. Look, the reactionaries are right sometimes. Sometimes you're wrong. There's a square by the art. Let's see. I don't know what you're saying there. All right, Jen. Jen can help out on the TikTok chat if there's issues there. Let me check over on Discord too, just to make sure. All right, we're good. Come on. All right. Here is the next executive order that Trump signed. This is the memorandum to resolve the backlog of security clearances for executive office of the president. This is the one that is making a lot of people really, really nervous. There's been concerns, specifically. There's been hundreds of people who have said they were concerned about Tulsi Gabbard and concerned that she could get security clearance, and they asked for closed-door meetings on Tulsi Gabbard. Ironically, Trump, if he was trying to apply for security clearance, wouldn't get it. Ironically, Pete Hegseth would not get security clearance. There are many people that Elon Musk would not get security clearance if he's going to get it. There's so many people in this cabinet that would not get security clearance. So Trump issues this memorandum, and what they do is they say they of course they blame this on Joe Biden. They say that there's a backlog of people getting security clearances. And rather than clearing out that backlog, rather than putting multiple people on, getting a few lawyers in, getting the vetting done and getting it done quickly, what they've decided is that Trump saying, therefore, by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, I hereby order, 1, White House counsel to provide the White House Security Office and acting chief security officer with a list of personnel that are hereby immediately granted interim, top secret, sensitive, compartmented information security clearances for a period not to exceed 6 months. Who cares if they can pass a security clearance? They're getting at least 6 months of access to top secret information. That these individuals shall be immediately granted access to the facilities and technology necessary to perform the duties of the office to which they have been hired. The White House counsel, as my designee, may supplement this list as necessary. They can just add whoever the fuck they want. White House counsel, as my designee, shall have the authority to revoke the interim clearance of any individual as necessary. This memorandum is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law, or in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, or any agents, or any other person. That has a lot of people nervous. And I think it should have I think everybody should be nervous about that one. Because if Donald Trump wants to hide things, if Donald Trump wants to give access to security information, he can just do it, and there's nobody that can stop it. And there's nothing you can do. Again, you can't prosecute him. If he winds up, what if he gives a Russian spy knowingly or unknowingly access? Then you can't prosecute him for that. And there's no vetting system. So now we just have to rely on White House chief counsel. Do you see how they subvert democracy in everything that they do? The reason that there are rules for security clearances is because of democracy, because there are checks and balances. And Project 2025 was simply this part, dismantling the administrative state. If you remember, there's that interview with Kevin Roberts that was done, and he's the author of Project 2025. It was a secret interview that some journalists did. It was an undercover recording. And one of the things that Kevin Roberts said is, yes, you've seen Project 2025. That's what we're going to do with the administrative state. That's a playbook that we're going to use to dismantle the administrative state. And they're doing it. They're doing every fucking bit of it. There's not a single thing in Agenda 25 that at the very least hasn't been brought up in the last couple of days. But the scarier part is that there are 3 other secret agendas that they're not going to release. That's the scarier part. This is how you dismantle the administrative state. I would imagine that a lot of the other private stuff has to do with things like state level, things like gerrymandering, things like election security. The thought of Trump consistently saying this will be the last election we ever need your vote, starting to ring a lot more true. And truthfully, like, the only thing we can do is uncover it. There is still enough transparency that we can uncover these things. There's enough good journalists in this world that we can uncover things. The only way to stop this is by convincing Americans that what's happening in front of them is happening in front of them. And we've got to figure out ways to make sure that people know why that's important. I think you run around in the crowd that we run around in, and I think we all mostly kind of understand like why certain things are important. But the average American does not know why these things are important. And we have to figure out a way not only to get that message to them, but to format it in a way that is digestible. That's the tricky part. And I would say if there's, I know there's a few creators in here, I would say focus your work on that. It's really fun to see you owning a Republican. It's really fun to do. I've done them, to make a video that just trashes Republicans. It might not be the most important part. The important part is that the people watching your videos understand the problem and recognize that it is a problem. And then we start to provide solutions, and you juxtapose our solutions versus their solutions. And their solution every single time, their solution to everything is we should probably just cut taxes, or we should probably take control away from the government. And I think that people are going to feel now more than ever that the government is their only protection. I've been criticized a lot by right-wingers recently for saying that the government is our protection, but it is. That's what they're there for. That's how the Constitution reads. And it takes a dumb person to throw away that government and hand it over to oligarchs. They convince you that the government is ruining everything. No, this government. I'm talking about this government. I am talking about this government. That's our protection. And our protection is that we force them to answer questions. We force them to address things. And some people will still side with Trump. But it's still, this is what we got. Like, you don't burn your house down because there's a leak in the roof. Even if that leak becomes a massive hole, you fix it. And I think we need to look at that. Like, we've got to fix it. That's the important part. And we have to focus, those of us who focus on politics, like, we've got to focus on the things that are going to have the most mass appeal. All right, next part. Somebody mentioned this earlier, but the attacks, this is just a nod to Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation. Trump administration has removed LGBTQ and HIV resources from White House and other government websites. Let me just give you I think I have an up-to-date list of all the places that the White House has removed, like all the websites White House has removed. Let me go to someone in our research had a list of this. Where did it go? Oh, it was there we go.
Someone who has left their native country as a
Sorry about the audio on that. Let me just go through this screenshot. All right, so the list of pages that are no longer found, if you click on the Constitution from whitehouse.gov, that link is now broken. If you click on the legislative branch at whitehouse.gov, that is now broken. If you click on guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion, that is now broken. Oh, no, that's the new one. Sorry, that's not a broken one. That's a new one. Sorry. Our government, the White House, broken. Which other ones? I think that was it. Any mentions of LGBTQ stripped from the website. GLAAD said President Trump claims to be a strong proponent of freedom of speech, yet he is clearly committed to censorship of any information containing or related to LGBTQ Americans and issues that we face. This action proves the Trump administration's goal of making it as difficult as possible for LGBTQ Americans to find federal resources or otherwise see ourselves reflected under his presidency. Sadly for him, our community is more visible than ever, and this pathetic attempt to diminish and remove us will again prove unsuccessful. GLAAD said that all mentions of LGBTQ and HIV-focused content and resources from the White House website has been eliminated, as well as LGBTQ and HIV content from key federal agency websites. Mentions of lesbian, bisexual, gay, transgender, sexual orientation, gender identity, and related terms are no longer accessible on whitehouse.gov, and the search term LGBTQ now brings up 0 results on the site. In addition, some LGBTQ-specific pages have been taken down from the CDC, Department of State, and more. GLAAD's president, I think that's the one I just read, yeah. Pages that have been removed from whitehouse.gov's equity report, no longer accessible. A fact sheet with information on expanding access to HIV prevention and treatment, no longer accessible. Information about Pride Month, no longer accessible. Agency page removals include Department of State's LGBTQ rights, Department of Labor's LGBTQ workers page. Clearly, this is a nod to the Heritage Foundation. And for the Republicans who said, like, oh, I love gay people, we're not going to go, Trump's not going to go after gay people. He loves gay people. Maybe. But, like, Trump doesn't love anybody. And this is a nod to the Heritage Foundation. And for any Republican here, he didn't do anything for you yesterday. He didn't do one goddamn thing for you. He gave nods to Christian nationalists, and he gave nods to his oligarch friends. How many days before you guys get a reduction on prices of groceries? How many days before he presents a plan that will allow you to buy a house? How many days before he makes education more affordable for you? How many days before the gas prices come down? I realize it's only one day, and we should not expect him to do all this in one day, even though he promised to do it in one day. But on day one, he very clearly showed who was most important to him, and it's his donors. It's his donors, the people that gave him power and give him money. That was day one. That's what we're worried about. If you don't believe that Donald Trump is doing exactly what Russia did and that Russia doesn't love this, I apologize in advance. This mostly subtitled. This was Russian state TV yesterday.
Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья и товарищи, в прямом
Let me just read them for it. I'll read the subtitles for you. We'll cut out their audio, but you'll have a nice picture there. Hello, dear friends and comrades. Live on air is your favorite program, 60 Minutes. We start with urgent news. Donald Trump requested for a phone call with Putin to be set up several days after the inauguration, which is weird because he was supposed to do it on day one. CNN sources have reported the main topic will be setting up a personal meeting in the coming months. The inauguration is today, January 20th at 8 p.m. Moscow time. Washington is lying low and waiting, along with the rest of the world. Right now, Fox News is reporting that Trump's return to the White House will cause shock and awe on the planet. Let's go to Washington. Hello, Katya. By the way, like, why do we have Russian state news here? Why do we have Russian state news here in Washington covering our elections? I wanted to show you that I was also invited to the dinner, to this wonderful event. She got invited to the inauguration dinner. Zelensky begged for, he's like, please, can I come to this? Like, I would like to use my influence as a way to get people to side with us. Zelensky not included. Russian state media propagandist Katya invited. So these invites now are just souvenirs. Washington is practically paralyzed. That was for the inaugural ceremonies right there. The roads are closed. Everything is iced over. So everyone will have to celebrate the inauguration in their hotel rooms or in the lobby. What was planned is a huge people's celebration, has unfortunately turned into a small, cozy private event, which is what we saw. Let me get a little further here. There we go. I won't ask you this publicly, but who are you, Katya? Donald Trump invited you to his inauguration? Who are you? Why did you get a personal invite? Macron was also not invited to the inauguration. Why are we inviting Russian state propagandists to the inauguration, do you think, but not these other folks? Because they paid. They paid Benny Johnson. They paid Tim Pool. They paid Tucker Carlson. They bought out our journalists. And all of the journalists that they bought out are pro-Trump journalists. And all those people have a spot at the table with Donald Trump. I'm tired of pretending that this isn't Russia. It's not us making look bad. It's him. Yeah. What did Manbag say about that? Manbag, how do you feel about Russia? Donald Trump inviting Russia's state media propagandists to the inauguration. What did he say about that? We should give Zelensky his nukes back. Yeah, if we had them, it might not be a bad idea. News is news. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. This is why we're not doing MAGA anymore. Like, you can show them that, like, our enemies are literally being invited, and there's like, no, news is news. Dude, listen, you're so low on the totem pole. We'll be saved before you are. They'll see more utility in us than you. You guys are the first ones to go. Let's see. I want to play this Mr. Global clip. Mr. Global, I talked about a national emergency.
Okay, so I've read the
for the border. There's an executive order also for a natural emergency on I guess energy, like a national energy emergency. And Mr. Global does an incredible job here breaking this entire thing down. As a reminder, Mr. Global he's not me. Okay, Mr. Global is not somebody who is openly political, and I would imagine if we got his political beliefs, he's far center of me. This is a person who works in gas. This isn't like a lefty.
Executive order on the national energy emergency. I've read it about 4 times just to like make sure I was reading what I thought I was reading. Like, you ever do that? You ever read something and like, I need to read that again. Anyway, I'll cover this as quick as I can. You might want to sit down. So right off the bat, they come out and say they will use federal eminent domain laws and they will use the Defense Production Act if necessary. Why would they use federal eminent domain laws? I don't know. To do whatever they want, wherever they want.
To be clear, if anybody doesn't know, federal eminent domain laws are basically saying that's when the government comes in and says, yeah, it's your land, but it's our land now. We are taking this land. It's eminent domain. Even though you own it privately, the federal government, if they feel justified, can come in and take your land.
Thinking they're targeting California because there is a part in this executive order where it says we are going to do this through the West Coast. They literally made a point to send Gavin Newsom a message. We're doing this through the West Coast. Defense Production Act.
By the way, remember 2 days ago, Mike Johnson and Donald Trump basically said we're going to use aid as a way to negotiate with California, and all of us were like, negotiate what? Like, what you want, Donald Trump on a mountaintop? It's probably this. They're probably going to try and negotiate on this, and if he doesn't capitulate, then they're going to use eminent domain. This is specifically a threat to California. I agree with Mr. Global on this, and they've outwardly been saying it. They've been saying, like, we're coming for you, California.
You know, where they could force companies to build pipelines, refineries, maybe drill wells. Yeah, any of those things. One of the less frightening things is making E15 available year-round and nationwide. Okay. And then we get into the meat of it where they basically declare what they are allowed to do since this is an emergency, and basically what laws and regulations they're able to get around, like the Clean Water Act, the Endangered Species Act, the rivers.
Does anybody remember these motherfuckers talking to us about East Palestine, Ohio, and clean water, and Flint, Michigan? Our infrastructure. Look at Flint, Michigan. Look at the water. They're literally saying, yeah, we're going to bypass the Clean Water Act. We're going to bypass the EPA. Why? We got to drill, baby, drill. Those oil barons need more money. Do you remember that being their argument? If you're somebody who's still arguing with MAGA, I might jot this one down, that they don't give a fuck about clean air and clean water. They just want gas. And they were never serious about that anyways. That was never their real contention. They didn't care. They don't give a shit about Ohio. I don't know if Ohio gives a shit about Ohio. They don't give a shit about clean air. They just saw it as an opportunity to try and dunk.
Rivers and Harbors Act, the Marine Protection Research and Sanctuaries Act. Yeah, basically all the laws and regulations that protect our environment right here, they're stating since this is an emergency, we, have exceptions to those, and we don't have to, deal with any of that stupid shit. Another part that I found interesting was the definitions, where they define energy and energy resources. So what are their energy resources in the United States? Well, they're crude oil, natural gas, least condensates, natural gas liquids, refined petroleum products, uranium, coal, biofuels, geothermal heat, the kinetic movement of flowing water, and critical minerals. Wait, there's no wind and solar there. They left that out for a reason too, folks. And there is more than one place on this executive order where it's understated, but they call out California and Gavin Newsom. The numerous problems are pronounced in the nation's northeast and west coast, where dangerous state and local policies jeopardize our nation's national defense and energy infrastructure, whatever it says. So basically, all of the heads of all of the agencies that are going to be involved in this are supposed to get together and put together some type of plan, which it doesn't say anything.
That's what I thought too. Open lithium pit mines coming soon. Do we have lithium deposits in California? Anybody know about that? Where do we have lithium deposits? I wonder if there's a map. I wonder if we have a map of that. What's this map? There's always a map. All right, this is the lithium map. Okay, so like heavy. Okay, so the darker, I believe this is right. The darker the percentage, the more lithium. Is that correct? Or that's the depth of the lithium, maybe. What is this showing me? Geochemical and mineralogical interpretation for soils of the continuous United States. Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at enough here. I think it's talking about like percentile 90 to 100 milligrams, kilograms. Does anybody know what I'm seeing here? Can anybody tell me, is this deposits? Is that what I'm looking at here? Who knows? That's Mr. Global's the creator of that video. Follow him everywhere. He's awesome when it comes to energy. The title is Geochemical and Mineralogical Maps with Interpretation for Soils of the Conterminous United States. I've never seen that word in my life. Conterminous United States. That's got to be like a science word. It's percentile, not percentage, right? Does anybody know anybody here? North Carolina hosts an estimated 4% of the lithium reserves. Okay, thank you, Carrie. So I'd imagine that these deep red places are places where you have, what did you say, California, Nevada? That makes sense. Yeah, there, maybe Montana. But specifically, you guys can see my mouse now a little bit where I'm circling there up the coast, and then obviously all of Nevada. Now, all of this part in Nevada is already deeply red, so I'm assuming that most of it is already open. We've got some there. Looks like in Utah as well. Okay, Arizona too. Great. So that's what they're doing, and they're saying and the reason that they're saying eminent domain is because they are. They don't have this problem in Nevada. They don't probably have this problem in Utah, but they're going to have this problem in Arizona, and they're going to have this problem in California and Oregon. And that's why they're saying, well, if you don't do what we say, fuck it, we're just taking your land.
Anything at all about what kind of plan or what the stated goals of the plan are. It just says put together a plan and come back to me in 30 days. And even if you don't have a plan and you can't figure it out, come back to me anyways. Like, if this is an emergency,
how can you discount that fires in California weren't set on purpose? Who cares? If somebody lit those fires in California on purpose, it's still global warming, and it's still the winds that caused it to be such a massive disaster. Right? Like, the problem with the California fires is how easy it was for them to spread that way. By the way, I did see this the other day. I saw Republicans, Joe Rogan actually was talking about it. He was saying, good point, Bobby. Joe Rogan was saying that somebody was talking about like drug addicts, and he's like, yeah, well, what do? What do they need? They need fire, right, for their drugs. How many of those rich folks up in the hills there you think use fire to light their own drugs? A very popular one that is very legal in California. Like, I thought that was such a weird thing. Like, everybody knows rich people are safe with ashes and with a lit joint. Like, I would say it's more likely it's something that you light and have to put out, where some of those other drogas you light and you don't have to put out, it just heats it up, right? But if you're lighting something and maybe you flick it, I just thought that was interesting. That like if they're gonna go like the drug route and the lighting route, they said like these people ventured all the way from downtown up these hills and to do their drugs, but nobody up here was doing it. No, but there's nobody up here that would possibly do any of that.
You need to have stated goals as to, okay, here's what we need to achieve for this to no longer be an emergency. There's nothing like that in there. There's no numbers. Oh, we need to produce this much of this and this much of this. There's none of that. There's not even anything at all about drill, baby, drill. It's basically, we're going to use federal eminent domain laws and the Defense Production Act, and we're going to skirt every environmental law and regulation that exists. Oh, and by the way, wind and solar isn't energy. And oh, by the way, the West Coast, we're coming for you. That is basically what this whole thing is in a nutshell. Yeah, thanks.
That actually makes the most sense for anything I've heard about this attack on wind. Solar has been hard to attack because it's pretty good. And there's millions of Americans that use solar energy to power their homes. That's a hard one to attack. That's the first time it's ever made sense to me. It's not about wind. It's about saying, let's not invest in renewable energy. Let's invest in lithium. Let's invest in coal. Let's invest in oil, because then Trump gets to kill two birds with one stone there. He gets quick energy to his oligarch buddies who want to make everything AI, and his other oligarch buddies that run oil and gas and coal, they get paid too. It's a win-win for Trump and a net loss for the planet. Look, I don't understand why as a society we can't just be like, hey, we're cool without AI. We're cool without massive computing powers. We'd rather live. I did have a conspiracy theory, though. I tweeted this out yesterday. Do you guys want to hear it? Here's my latest conspiracy theory. My latest conspiracy theory is that old Elon and some of these other technocrats and crypto bros, they're always talking about population concerns, right? Always talking about population concerns. Now, Elon's weird because Elon's like, we need to repopulate, but everybody else in that group has said basically, yeah, AI is going to take people's jobs. Like, we're not going to need as much of a workforce going forward, and there's going to be people that are displaced. If you wanted to get rid of a lot of people, right, and you wanted to get rid of a workforce so you could replace it with AI, I think, and this is where it's not a conspiracy theory. I'm just saying, if let's say that somebody came to me with this plan, they said, can you figure out a way that we could get rid of a lot of people? I would say, Why don't we take the dumbest ones, like all the dumbest ones, the ones that don't really provide a great deal of value, and we'll say, hey guys, you know what's bad? Vaccines. Vaccines are bad. And then I'd unleash some viruses. And then nobody could blame me. I would just say that vaccines and science are bad. Just saying, if anybody thinks that there's like this push to get rid of people off this planet, the hell of it is the people that believe that, they're most likely to be targeted. I'm just saying that's what I would do. If I were giving advice, I don't support that advice, but that's what I would do if I wanted to keep my hands clean. And I might perhaps buy a social media platform, and I might perhaps push out those conspiracy theories, while I myself, there's no evidence whether or not I'm vaccinated, but I seem to do a lot of other medical procedures. That's just what I would do. Darwin has entered the chat. Yeah, Darwin is here. Darwin is absolutely here. Look, my ex was just showing me like some of her friends' tweets yesterday and Instagram stories, and that was my thought the whole time. Like these are just the everybody that was tweeting out shit about vaccines and about Trump and how much they loved him. Every one of them is like consistently being scammed. Every person that had tweeted has been scammed by like some company. Every one of them they fall for every new thing. Like they were all QAnon a few years ago. Are we by the way, are we now aware that like QAnon didn't go away? QAnon just became Trump. It seemed like it went away because people stopped saying Q, but they're actually all saying the same thing. It's just Trump. QAnon actually just got bigger, and Trump is like, nah, it's me. It's actually me this whole time. The same dumb people that fell for QAnon are like the top of the food chain here. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's head of the Doge Committee now. Our FBI director, our incoming appointment for FBI director is full-on QAnon. Full-on believer. Like the people that we were laughing at are like Trump's favorite people. Those are his picks for his cabinet. Don't let Republicans run from that either. Don't let your family run for that. We keep pointing out that these people that Trump keeps putting up are straight QAnon, flat earth fucking morons. Just like just the dumbest of the dumb. And Trump's like, I love you because you'll just do whatever I say. Or whatever my friends tell you to do. I want to show you this. I'm not going to show the Elon salute, but I do want to show you the cover of Rolling Stone, which was brilliant. Right-wing extremists are abuzz over Musk's straight-arm salute. Incredible things are happening already, LMAO wrote Gab founder and Schmittler bot innovator Andrew Torba. If this, as much attention as this got from our side of the aisle, the alt-right liked this the most. This was their favorite part of yesterday. The alt-right loved this. And again, like publicly, they're going to do what text does and they're going to pretend. But like if you go scroll through Twitter and you just you type in Elon salute, you're going to find a bunch of American schmazzies being like, that's our guy. And then they're laughing. They're like, I can't believe people believe him when he says that wasn't a salute to them. God, Americans are dumb. It's so easy to to fool these people. It's because people don't want to believe it, though. It's not like necessarily a dumb thing. People don't want to believe this. All my friends that I talk to, they are desperate not to believe this. They are going to find any way possible to continue down this road, and that's why we make the change. That's why our content is changing, because we need to take that away from them. That gray area needs to be taken away. Too many journalists have spent all their time talking about Donald Trump. Too few of them have spent time explaining why it's scary, why Donald Trump is scary. And it's not his words, it's his actions. But it's easy. I think journalists largely got lazy. I think that's why nobody trusts nobody trusts any journalist, right? No level-headed person trusts any journalist. Nobody on the left trusts CNN or MSNBC. There are moderates, like our grandparents still turn on CNN and MSNBC, and they use that as a trusted news source, despite the fact that I think there are great anchors and journalists over there that do good work. Republicans only believe propagandists. They only believe the people that are lying to them exclusively. Anybody that is telling Republicans consistent truth, they've lost their audience. It is fucking fascinating that Ben Shapiro, of all people, has lost his audience because he took a too nuanced an approach. Imagine that, like, I didn't think in 2016 I'd be like, you know who is pretty nuanced for a Republican? Ben Shapiro. And it's simply just because Ben Shapiro sometimes is like, hey, that was kind of bad, and Republicans lose their fucking minds. We have to engage with new journalists. We have to engage with new media, because if I've learned one thing, and I'm gonna call out somebody specifically. I don't want to use usernames because I don't want to be targeted, but Bev from our research group is quite possibly the most informed and inquisitive person I've ever met. I have spent hundreds of hours reading other people's research the last 2 years doing this show. Hundreds of hours. And I've never met anybody who could take a complex issue and break it down simply like she can. And this is somebody who nobody listens to. Every journalist that's out there right now on our side of the aisle is getting it wrong if they're talking about Donald Trump. I think every one of them is getting it wrong if they're talking just about Donald Trump and not about the impact of what he does. We should give 0 fucks about Donald Trump, but we should give many, many fucks about the impact of the things about the impact from the things that he does. We should give so many fucks about that. But I'm telling you, like, as you reach out, as you try and like mitigate the new landscape of social media, I would just encourage you to engage with people and follow people who are saying things that are a little bit different. Because those people have courage. Those people have the courage to say, I understand I could get clicks if I just cover Donald Trump all day long. I understand I could get clicks if I cover Elon Musk all day long. But if they're telling you what Elon Musk is doing, and it's not stuff you're seeing normally, that's a person you should trust. And those are the people we need to gravitate to, I think. I think that's the only way to get our message. Nobody believes our messengers anymore. Nobody does. We don't believe them. The right doesn't believe them. The people that don't consume media, they don't believe them because their leftist friends don't believe them, and their friends on the right don't believe them, and they're left with just like, yeah, fucking everybody on the left sucks. And on the right, they're like, everybody on the left sucks, but we have these great people like fucking Glenn Beck and Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes and Tim Pool that are just lying to them every day. We've got to give people a real scenario. And I think that the other part of this that is encouraging is that people want something new. People want a movement. Everybody wants a movement. Everybody wants to be part of a movement. And people want to be part of a movement where they can come home after a long day's work and put up 4 Instagram stories and feel like they're doing their part. And those people are doing their part. And we don't utilize those people. Because if we historically we've utilized those people for like clickbaity shit, and it's not effective on their friends. We've got to create a movement here on this side of truth seeking. It's similar to QAnon minus the conspiracy theories, minus like the I kind of like the conspiracy theories. I'll take that back. Minus like the religious imagery and the religious overtones and the ideas of like zombies and demons and people eating children. The truth about why QAnon works is because it tells a very fantastic story. The difference between us and QAnon is we can tell a compelling story without bringing in demons. We can tell a compelling story that doesn't get people made fun of by their friends. And I'm excited, to be honest, I'm excited to do that. And I think that it's something that most of us can get on board with. But figure out how to make a difference just in your own community. Figure out like when you post something online and one of your moderate friends likes it, like register. Okay, this works on them. Like this works. This works. Notice what doesn't get clicks. Like the stuff that you probably like the most incendiary stuff. If you have a following like mine, like my personal one, nobody clicks on it because they're like, I'm not getting involved in that shit. Start figuring out what works for the moderates, and we'll move them there. Mute me. Who got muted? We don't need magic and witchcraft to make our story make sense. I agree. All right, let me check messages real quick. I don't have a goal thing to update here. That's something I forgot to add. Let me tell you where. I'll just tell you where we're at. We're about 200 short right now. The goal every day is 300. I know we're supposed to change it. Jen wanted it to be more, so thank God we didn't do that today, or Jen would be yelling at you. Jen said, reproductive rights, Spanish version of White House website, all taken down. I don't remember if I read that or not, but Chrissy says, hey, Jay, I love listening to your lives. They removed the Constitution from whitehouse.gov. Is that normal for an incoming administration to do? Thanks. I'd imagine that they're just like I think they're just like making a new page for it to put their spin on it. And I'm going to guess that it'll be back. I can't imagine that they would remove the Constitution entirely. However, some of the people that are in office with Trump, some of these oligarchs, they don't believe in the Constitution. They think it's outdated. So I would say it's unlikely that it's not coming back. But if it doesn't, then I think we know why. Bree says, wanted to say that everyone should be calling mainstream media out this entire time. No sane washing, period. Unless we're trying to sane wash you not having the sense to come beat these cheeks. Do better, Jay. Thank you. We awoke the activists today. The activists are happy today. I like that. Jeremy says, thanks for all the hard work in continuing the fight. Thank you, Jeremy. Katrina says, thanks for all you do. You keep me sane. I think I read that one. Unless multiple people I'm keeping sane, in which case that's not good. You must be hanging. If I'm keeping you sane, you're hanging on by a thread. Lisa says, can you hold me and let me cry on your shoulder? Absolutely. Absolutely, Lisa. Tears are welcome. Look, we should cry more. Crying's good. When you're done crying, that you find your motivation again. For anybody who's holding in tears, just fucking let it go. Let it all out, and then you'll find your motivation again after. Yita said he had Millie's picture taken down in the Pentagon. Okay, I read that one. Okay. Back to it. Like I said, we do rely on your guys' generosity to keep this going. So if you could, so that Jen doesn't quit, we have about $200 to knock out in the next, we got an hour and 15 more minutes. We can do that. It's not new for you. That's true, Bree. Let me find my outline. Where did it go? There we go. I showed you guys the Bernie Sanders. I already showed you this. That's what made me cry today. I want to show you a clip that we covered the other day, but just a reminder. I think Bernie Sanders is now the king of this show. Like, Bernie Sanders is now our leader, and I'm going to take his cues from now on. This was him talking with Scott Bessent, and I think this is something that could be shared as a reminder that Donald Trump removed everybody off that stage except for his family and the oligarchs who all hated him a week ago. I think this is important now, and I think if you took this video and you put it next to Donald Trump's stage, maybe some pictures of Zuckerberg or some pictures of Elon or Jeff Bezos, and put this next to it, I think it sends a good message.
Right now in America, we have over 22 million workers who are making less than $15 an hour, and nearly 40 million people in our country earning less than $17 an hour. Shamefully, the federal minimum wage, despite the efforts of myself and other people here, have not been raised since 2009 and remains an unbelievable $7.25 an hour. Will you work with those of us who want to raise the federal minimum wage to a living wage to take millions of Americans out of poverty?
Senator, I believe that the minimum wage is more of a statewide and regional issue.
So you don't think we should change the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour?
No, sir.
Everybody should be forced to see that every single day. It's so gross to see like working class Republicans to stand up for that. It's so gross. And the messaging that we've been using of bootlicking probably doesn't work. I don't know the way to make that messaging work, but the fact that people see that and that messaging doesn't work on them is wild. I mean, some people just are cool with it, I guess. You got to get uncomfortable. And frankly, I think that there's going to be some people that become uncomfortable. I don't think this is going to be an easy 2 years, these next 2 years. I think it's going to be a difficult 2 years for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to wind up hurting that didn't think they were going to wind up hurting. A lot of people are going to hit financial struggles that they didn't see coming because Donald Trump's doing nothing for them. None of this. Nothing he has proposed yet will make a difference and impacted any of your lives, except for like a checklist of like, hey, we're cool, we're America, we drill more oil. Cool, you have less money. We're America. We took over the Panama Canal. Cool. You have no more money. We're America. We took over Greenland. Cool. You have no more money. We're America. There's only two genders. Cool. You can't afford groceries. We're America. We're going like we teach the Bible in school. Cool. None of you fuckers can read. I think I saw there's an estimated like 46% of the American population reads below a 6th grade level. And functionally, like 17% of the American population is illiterate. We aren't a good country, guys. I hate to say it. We're not very good. We don't have the best and the brightest. Our government is corrupt, and it's corrupt in a way that like no other country allows it to be corrupt. We're just like, hey, you know who really should get to make all the decisions is dark donors. We should allow dark money to make all the decisions here. Citizens United, like, think about that. This was legitimately what happened with Republicans. Republicans and Democrats had a disagreement on funding elections, and Republicans are like, we have the most compelling case. We're going to go to the Supreme Court, and we're going to tell the Supreme Court. And Mitt Romney was back to this too, which was impossible to defend. I could tell you as somebody working on Romney's campaign, this was the most impossible one to defend, and it helped catapult Obama. It was impossible to defend the statement that corporations are people. Nobody was buying that shit. The elitism, the attacks on the elite, that's what we need to get back to. That worked. God damn, it was so hard to defend Mitt Romney. It was so hard to defend him. And Mitt Romney is like if Donald Trump grew up with integrity, right? Like Mitt Romney is the best possible outcome of being a Republican. He's like the best version of Republican. He made a lot of money, but also like he doesn't hate everybody, and he doesn't say insane things, and he's not a schmatzy. He was the best possible version of them, and you couldn't defend it. I think that part of that messaging going forward will be really effective is to continuously tie Donald Trump to the elites all the time. Every time you talk to anybody, just bring up the fact that Donald Trump is owned by the elites and he's not doing anything. Every day we should bring up that fuck you, Jay. Every day we should bring up that Donald Trump isn't doing anything for regular people, and he's just doing favors for the billionaire class. Every single day we should do that. That's all I would talk. If I was hosting live still for debates, that's all I would do. Is I would just put it up there. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about you. Prove me wrong. It's like good luck. You might not get many biters there. Somebody tell Parker and Dean they'll get an audience anyway. So anybody here who's close with them, send them a message. Tell them I said that they should change it to Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about you, and see if that works out. I was unaware of this, and I am not a time traveler. I know Bernie Sanders is old. I'm not sure if this is Bernie Sanders, but if it's not Bernie Sanders, it sure as shit is Bernie Sanders. I love this picture. I absolutely love this picture. This is Bernie Sanders sitting in his chair during the Trump inauguration. in his mittens for the first one, and sitting there with a grumpy look on his face before. It's one of the most powerful pictures I've ever seen in my life. That man simply showed up for his country, with his friends, and when it was time to swear allegiance to a man, he was like, "Fuck that. I'm not doing that shit." Everybody else was whipped into a hysteria here. Everybody else pledging their allegiance. You got German Bernie Sanders there. He's like, "Nah, fuck that. I'm not playing that game." There were a couple of those. There were a couple of those people yesterday. Those people should be celebrated. Dude, is that not the same thing? The only difference here is like Bernie is in both groups. Bernie's there publicly because he's one of us, and then privately in the powerful circles, he's there too. And he's the same guy in both. I'm not doing this shit. I'm not doing this shit with you guys. I'm not doing it. Let's go here. Somebody said, does anybody know who had control over the United States more, Democrat or Republican? I feel like it was Democrats. I think historically have had more control. I think. Is that your whataboutism? Yeah, this image is in Discord. Ash, can you drop this in Discord? Ash made it. I'm trying to get a high def version of this picture. If anybody finds a high def version of this, I would love it. This one does get a little blurry. Where do we got? Okay. I hope I don't get taken down for this. After that headline, the headline, obviously, that I showed you guys from Newsweek, this one, right-wing extremists are abuzz over Musk's straight arm salute. Somebody posted this Key and Peele skit, and it just reminded me of Tex, and it reminded me of Republicans, and so I'm going to show it. And this is a skit that they didn't ever do on TV, so nobody owns the rights to this, and this is for educational purposes only. And I love the TikTok shop and all that stuff.
Oh, no, dog. No, this is the Charlie Chaplin mustache.
Wait, what? Why is it playing in? Oh, I have picture in picture playing. Hold on. Shit, how do I undo? There we go.
No, dog. No, this is the Charlie Chaplin mustache. You know Charlie Chaplin, right?
Yeah, I know Charlie Chaplin.
You know I'm a fan of silent film comedy, right?
Yeah.
Well, come on, man. Hitler ain't the only person that gets to have this mustache.
Yeah, I guess Michael Jordan had one too for a little bit.
Exactly, right? And guess what? I'm not going to let some monster from the 20th century dictate fashion for all of eternity. You know what I'm talking about? Other people get to have this mustache if they want to.
All right. Yeah, it just caught me off guard.
Okay. All right. Oh, man, you crazy. You got to take it easy, man. This is my abode, brother. When did you get a German Shepherd? What, Adolf here?
See, what?
No. Not Adolf Hitler, okay? Adolf Marx, Harpo. I love the Marx brothers. Why are you busting my chops? You know this. What? You know what? You need to relax and take it easy, okay? Everything is cool, man. Let's crack these open, all right? I'll show you the kitchen. Kitchen's amazing, man. The best part about this house is I got this thing for like $20,000.
Oh, no!
What? It's happened, right?
Yeah.
I cut that real quick, just in case. Is that not Republicans today? Is that not them today? Under Trump administration, a border patrol was unalived in Vermont. Oof. Yes, I thought that one hit home. That made an impact on my morning. I'll look at that Vermont thing. Let me check messages real quick. Jen, if you have the Vermont thing, will you send it to me? Is Jen even around? It's so weird being disconnected from her during the live. Devin says, so when's the price of eggs going down again? Yeah, it's tomorrow. He said day one, but that's not what he meant. Cheryl, thank you for the donation there. Janelle says, thanks for all you do, Jay. Yesterday proves how important you, your team, and others like you are to this country. You need to keep this going. I'd like to know the best way to support you from here on out. Occasional donations here or a monthly YouTube subscription or look, I would really like to not be taking donations as soon as possible. If you subscribe on YouTube, that's helpful. If you pay for memberships on YouTube, that's helpful. We keep a bigger percentage. We have memberships available on TikTok as well, gifts on TikTok as well. We just don't keep as high a percentage of that. But mostly watching on YouTube and Twitch allows us to get we get ad revenue shares. I would love to not be taking money from donations privately at some point. I would love to just have like the two channels pay for themselves. At that point, we can get advertisers as well to sponsor the show. If anybody knows a business that would like to sponsor us, we're open to that. But right now, the only way we keep 100% of the money is through donations. Every other way, there's a cut taken. But however you can help, and if you can't help monetarily, again, sharing it every day. Every day you come in, not just sharing it to TikTok, but sharing it to Facebook, to Instagram, to X, wherever else you are, Blue Sky, anywhere you can share a link to our show, specifically a link to either YouTube or Twitch. It helps us greatly. Sorry, let me my throat. The percentage on the percentage is best on YouTube. That's our best the best place that's where we keep the most percentage. God, I'm trying to read things and my sentences make no sense. Heather says, heard at Danny say today, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Loved that sentiment. Yeah. We used to taught us that when I was coaching. Toby said, why aren't we celebrating the end of the Ukraine-Russia war? Oh, wait, it's not fucking over. That's why it was, Toby. Janelle says, thanks for all you do. Oh, I did that one already. Thank you. And then Jen said she sent me something. Perfect. All right, just for an update, 50. Nice. Thanks, guys. We're about 1:30 short now, so thank you guys so much. Jen just said she sent me the Venmo thing. Check donations. I sent you the Vermont thing. Oh, I read Venmo. All right, let's see what's going on in Vermont. Whoops. U.S. Border Patrol agent fatally shot in Vermont near Canada. Let's see. Does it have sound? Doesn't seem to be sound on this. Just a video. All right. Authorities on Tuesday are investigating a fatal shooting of a border agent that also left a suspect unalived and another injured on a Vermont highway near Canada. I'm just going to say the agent's death Monday was confirmed by FBI and Benjamin Huffman, acting Secretary of Department of Defense. The injured suspect was taken into custody after the violence on Interstate 91. So we don't have a name there. Huffman said the agent died in the line of duty. The identity of the agent, who was assigned to Border Patrol's Swanton sector, was not immediately released. Agent was shot at 3:15 p.m. In Orleans County. All right, I don't think we have a name yet. The agent was driving an unmarked white pickup truck with a cab on it, red and blue flashing lights. He said the stopped vehicle appeared to be a small blue car. The agent was speaking with someone standing in front of his truck behind the car. Nothing unusual at that point, but when he got back on the highway later that night, it looked like the same two vehicles were still parked and other law enforcement vehicles had arrived. Deluzzi said the U.S. Border Patrol works closely with state and local police in his county. We have limited law enforcement. They're often primary responders in emergency cases. All right, well, we'll see on that. Jeez. Cool. I still want him to protect us from the geese. New allegations against Hegseth? Is that why somebody said the Hegseth nomination was stalled? There's new allegations? I missed yours, Bean. All right, let me check on Cash App. Jen, do you want to see if there's new allegations on Hegseth? Shannon says, "Did you see Reverend Edgar's sermon to Trump?" I didn't. Is that the one you're talking about? Is that you, Bean? That might have been it. Bernie J 2028. I think I got it. Was that you, Bean? Was one of those you? Okay, got it. Reverend Edgar. I don't know anything about Reverend Edgar. Let's see. Let's see here. I believe it's this.
Final plea. Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land.
That camera focused on them. Yeah, that was better. That was better than I expected it to be. The unbothered look on their face. The part I noticed, J.D. Vance saying something to his wife and his wife completely ignoring him. I get the distinct impression that J.D. Vance's wife is not super on board with this. She hasn't been much of a presence. Just a guess. That might have been like a told you so. All right, here's what we have about Pete Hegseth, new allegations. Get through that ad real quick.
I actually do want to start with some breaking news we have. It involves the president's choice for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. What should we know here?
That's right, Zinkley. This is some exclusive reporting from my colleagues Julie Sirkin, Courtney Cuby, and Sarah Fitzpatrick, and they outline an affidavit from Pete Hegseth's ex-sister-in-law, who signed an affidavit in which she said that her sister feared for her safety, or sister-in-law, I should say, feared for her safety when she was married to Pete Hegseth. This would be Pete Hegseth's second wife. Now, she signed this affidavit and provided it to committee staff. Senators are now reviewing it. Now, Pete Hegseth's ex-wife, Samantha, has stated on the record that she's not authorized anyone to speak on her behalf and that she denies the allegations that her former sister-in-law has outlined in this report. But this is another development, another allegation about Hegseth and his background that could come into play before his final vote on the Senate floor. He has already been reported out of committee, so Republicans have supported his nomination up until this point. We'll have to see if these new allegations will have any impact on the final vote, which could come in the next week.
I think it's.
I mean, he clearly doesn't respect women. There's no question that he doesn't respect women. I doubt that does anything. I doubt it's convincing at all. If you're under the impression that Pete Hegseth cares about women and is going to treat women with respect, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. His mom says he doesn't respect women. His police report says he doesn't respect women. His history of marriage says he doesn't respect women. His history of infidelity says he doesn't respect women. His thought is full-throated endorsement of the idea that women should not serve in combat roles is evidence. Like, yeah, who just Rosette? They don't care. They really don't care, and they have enough people to vote him through. And I'll just ask. I just don't get it. Why him? He is so far down the list of qualified people on the Republican side. I don't want any of these motherfuckers in office. I don't want any of them running the Department of Defense. Not one goddamn one of them. But if I'm going to make a list, he's pretty fucking far down the list. There's not many people that I would put below him on a list of people who should lead the Department of Defense. This is clearly a flawed human being with anger problems, with alcohol abuse problems, with problems telling the truth. He lied to Trump's team. He lied to them. He hid all of this stuff from them, and they were unable to unearth it. He hid it from them. None of you care. The message to women should be very clear from these Republicans. We don't give a fuck. Just keep having babies, keep supporting us. We don't give a fuck otherwise, though. Yeah, don't have self-respect. I agree with that. Like I think about my mom and my family and the women on that side of the aisle who consistently endorse and and vote for people who abuse women. And you're exactly right. Like they've been told that those things don't define a man. Abuse towards women is just what men do. Everybody does it because every man in their life, every conservative woman that grew up, like most of the men in their life, mistreated them. And if they didn't mistreat them, they discounted them, and they viewed them as less than. So it's easy for them. They've been doing it their whole life. Bree, Bree, will you send the message about hugs to Jen? Yours is so far down there, and there's multiple. I don't know which one it is. I'll happily read it. Will you send it to Jen though? Let's see. I think it was Cash App that came through on. Betsy says, thanks to you, Jen, and the research team. Thank you, Betsy. Appreciate that. That puts us at what? One. Perfect. About 100 short. We got plenty of time. We got plenty of time to knock that out. Thank God. I don't want to get beat up by Jen again today. All right. What's next? All right. I want to show you this. This is. Wait. Is this? Okay. Yeah. This is one. I don't know if you guys know who Michael Schellenberger is. I had heard his name before. He's a kind of a weird guy. Like, I have to replay it. He's somebody who has really weird thoughts. Like he believes in climate change, but doesn't think we should do anything about it. He believes humans have an impact, doesn't think we should do anything about it. He's very skeptical of virtually everything. But this is what he had to say about Democrats.
Everybody, it's Mike Schellenberger for Public. Donald Trump's inauguration triggered millions to take to the streets to protest, resulting in hundreds of arrests. Protests erupted across the United States and around the world, from London to Berlin to Sydney, over fears that Trump would, like Adolf Hitler, implement a fascist dictatorship. Am I talking about 2025? No, I'm talking about 2017. There was no comparable response this year to Trump's inauguration. Al Sharpton spoke at a rally in Washington, D.C., a few hundred people protested in San Francisco, and there were only tiny protests in places like London, Switzerland, and Panama.
Yeah, so his idea here was the reason Democrats are so quiet is because Trump defeated them morally, not just politically. It's not why we're quiet. I think we're quiet because we're stunned. That's what happened. If you want to say you defeated us morally, I mean our morals didn't change. Yours did. Morals is saying like you believe in one thing and then advocating for it. The amount of people that Donald Trump claimed to advocate for and that he would fight for, that he has done nothing for, and in fact has reversed policies. We're tired. Yeah. And we know that it doesn't matter. We know that it doesn't matter if we show up and we protest because we've done it a million times. And the news isn't going to cover it in a way that matters. They're gonna cover it like it's a parade. So it's why part of the reasons Republicans did well is because they stopped doing they stopped going out in public and doing this, and they stopped appealing to Democrats. They're just like, fuck it, we're doing our own thing. Well, fuck it, we're gonna do our own things too. But let me tell you maybe why sometimes we feel a little fucked up. It's been it's since I've been working in elections, these tech oligarchs who weren't billionaires the last time I worked in election, but all of them are now. Like, they gave money during elections, and they would largely not say anything, and they would stay out of elections. They'd give money to both sides, and in return, our government, whoever was in office, would give them tax breaks, or who would give them grants, or who would make it easier for them to do business. And they did that, and we all kind of just said okay. And now we have those exact people who we ignored for a long time. They show up with the Republicans, and they just cheat right in front of our faces. You can't tell me that this isn't on purpose. Facebook's going to call this an accident. They did call it an accident. And I've seen a lot of people say that, like, they're leaving Meta. Instagram hides search results for Democrats. Meta says it's working urgently to fix a problem with Instagram, which results in a results hidden message when users search for the term Democrat or Democrats. Oh, just on Inauguration Day, it just happened. That just happened on Inauguration Day. They say that some social medias have accused, and this is why nobody fucking believes anybody anymore. Some social media users have accused the company of political bias, pointing out the issue has been occurring after President Donald Trump's inauguration, which was attended by Meta owner Mark Zuckerberg. Meta says that's not the case. It's a technical problem, which has also affected other hashtags, including a Republican one. I don't know what that means. But if you searched Republican, there was a return of 3.3 million posts. Or if you searched Republicans, and if you searched Democrat or Democrats, you saw no results. It's not a big issue. It's not something that long-term affects us. But what it shows us is that these tech companies are cool, just doing little small favors for Donald Trump here and there. TikTok put his name. TikTok said, hey, thanks, Donald Trump. Not thanks, United States government. Not we'd like to thank the president. Not we'd like to thank Joe Biden and Donald Trump for doing the exact same fucking thing, which they did. They did the exact same thing. Instead, thank you, Donald Trump. Like they'll sell out, and he'll sell out. That's why we're not marching in the streets anymore. What fucking good does it do? Like, it's time for a different game. You know what we can do? I'm working on it. You know how crypto is super easy to manipulate? You know how all these billionaires are super easy? It's super easy to get them to manipulate. There's a group of people who are known for manipulating crypto and manipulating stocks. And that group of people is very famous. They did it with what's that? GameStop. I think that's how we have to fight back. I think we have to create our own networks. And I think we have to publicly take on the oligarchs, which is a little scary. We need to take their crypto projects and crash them. We need to take their stock prices and crash them. We need to take their competitor stock prices and raise them. Everybody should we can get together and create groups where we invest in blue sky. We invest in companies that want to do good things, or at the very least, the competitors of the companies that are doing bad things. You say, how do we do it? Like, we create a collective. We put together a group, and anybody that wants to be a part of that group, next week we will have maybe not next week, maybe the following week we'll have a plan, and then we grow it. And you get enough people doing the same thing over and over again, and you can hurt these people. And you can hurt Donald Trump. You can hurt Republicans. You can hurt the people that donate to Republican donors. And that's how you have to do it. The only way to get people to reverse course is to hurt their pocketbooks. We've seen America can be bought. America will be bought. America will overlook anything as long as they think it's going to benefit them. Like fire with fireworks. I'm reaching out to some people, but I'm just telling you, like this is already in the works. This isn't my idea, by the way. This is already in the works. There's other people already organizing this who are far more connected and have a far bigger reach than I do. So I don't like I'm not the leader of this. I'm just going to figure out ways to network with those people and use our network and our platform to give people an opportunity to join in a fight. But like it happened, it's out there. I don't know who to tell you the truth. When you guys say who, like I don't know who they are. These people all operate on Signal, on Discord, on Reddit, and they operate behind screen names, and they do that on purpose. Like they want anonymity, and we'll all want anonymity too, as far as our screen names go. So you can't be targeted. But there are groups that do this, and I'm not going to spearhead it, but I am going to be bringing those groups here. I'm going to at least present those groups here and give people the opportunity to join those groups and do some activism. So. Just want to let you know, like, there's stuff that can be done. I don't think we need to feel completely defeatist today, but I do think we should feel motivated. And look, they fought dirty. They fought dirty and they won. So we have to take down the people that fought dirty. We have to take away their ability to fight dirty. Let me check comments real quick. Bree says, I'm ready to hurt their pocketbooks and more as long as you come hurt mine next. And I'm not talking about my wallet. Hey, if we do it, maybe we're in business. Mark says Wall Street Bets. Yeah, if you guys want to check out, that's a good place to go. If you go to Reddit, like r/Wall Street Bets, just go read through the comment sections. It's already happening. People are already doing this. Jack says it hasn't been mentioned. Trump's plan to make gender on passports match gender at birth instead of gender presentation will allow TSA to detain anyone whose appearance doesn't sufficiently match their gender marker. Dangerously subjective, will harm trans and cis people. Whoa. I didn't know that was part of the plan. Wow. I had no idea that was part of it. Bree says, damn, you couldn't put the effort in to look when all I'm trying to do is offer you this gooey lava cake. Sorry, it just takes, every time I click on a comment and then it's not that one, it refreshes and goes to the top of the page and it's not numbered. So I have to guess which one you're talking about and it's just a nightmare. But what it was is Bree said, if you're offering cries on your shoulder, can you slip it in after? Thank you. What can I reread it? Bree, which one? That one was if you're offering cries on your shoulder, can you slip it in after? And the other one is I'm ready to hurt their pocketbooks and more as long as you come hurt mine next, and I'm not talking about my wallet. Oh, the gooey lava cake. Good for you guys. You degenerates. All right. Damn, you couldn't put the effort in to look when all I'm trying to do is offer you this gooey lava cake. There you go.
He's trying to fuck RTP. Should make him better than a cherry. Breeze trying to fuck RTP. Breeze trying to fuck RTP.
W. Bree. Christina says, you're awesome. I'm a 69-year-old black woman who has been fighting the same bullshit since the 70s. I'm tired, but you give me energy to continue. Thank you. That gives me energy to continue. I appreciate that. All right, we're getting close. Yes, Jen's not gonna beat us. We're about 50 short. It is the best song. And shout out Bider for making that song. All right, back to this. I just want to go over Jim Justice real quick because it's important to remember. Jim Justice is, I believe, being sworn into was sworn into the United States Senate this week. Let's try our best not to make fun of his appearance, okay? Let's do our very best. Even though he looks like fucking penguin. Here's Jim Justice.
Forbes, this former billionaire and new U.S. senator is now broke.
Wait, what's going on? Okay, the TSA one. The one before? Oh, the TSA one. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I don't understand what you're saying. Okay, Jack, the TSA comment is, if it hasn't been mentioned, Trump's plan to make gender on passports match gender at birth instead of gender presentation. It will allow the TSA to detain anyone whose appearance doesn't sufficiently match their gender marker. Dangerously subjective, will harm trans and cis people. There you go. There we go. He's not, listen, he's not okay.
When West Virginia Governor James Conley Justice II finishes out his gubernatorial term in mid-January and reports to Washington, D.C. to be sworn into the United States Senate, he will become one of the nation's poorest senators. But how can that be? After all, for nearly a decade until 2021, Forbes figured Justice to be a billionaire, the richest man in the Mountain State, thanks to a lifetime amassing a fortune in coal and real estate, with gems like the historic 710-room Greenbrier Resort in West Virginia's Allegheny Mountains, with its golf course that has hosted the annual Live Golf Tournament. But
that was kind of a weird way to they brought up Live Golf Tournament. Live Golf's been around for like 2 years. Greenbrier used to be a massive PGA Tour event, and then the PGA guys didn't want to go there anymore. So that's actually what happened. They built a place that nobody wanted to go to.
Closer look at Justice's finances reveals that his empire is severely troubled. The Greenbrier, for example, is suffering from years of neglect and may now be worth less than half the $1 billion value Justice long claimed. Justice's coal companies, led by Bluestone Resources, still mine about 500,000 tons per year, but that is down from 2 million tons a decade ago. They likely generate $150 million in revenues and have an enterprise value less than $200 million. Those are substantial assets, but Justice's liabilities are much greater. According to Forbes estimates, Jim Justice...
This is why it's important to understand his liabilities and understand, like, a person like this is easily influenced, easily bought, easily corrupted by foreign money.
...is in hock to the tune of more than $1 billion in the form of personally guaranteed bank loans, debt, court judgments, and environmental liabilities. By Forbes' reckoning, the new Republican senator from West Virginia has a net worth of less than zero.
I just want you guys to know, that's not his son on the chair there. That's a bulldog. In case you were wondering.
Justice's attorneys and spokespeople have not responded to Forbes' repeated requests for comment. Keeping an eye on every nickel is Justice's most concerned creditor, publicly traded Carter Bank shares of Martinsville, Virginia, a $4.6 billion in assets community bank known as, quote, the home of lifetime free checking. Justice personally owes Carter some $375 million. The loans are secured by the first lien on the Greenbrier and many other assets. When Justice...
One thing to remember about the Greenbrier is that the reason that they are getting... the Greenbrier has events from Live Golf Tour is because the Live Golf Tour is completely funded by the Saudis. And the Saudis have done this over and over and over again. They did it with Trump. They've done it with Justice. They've done it with other powerful people. They recognize that them coming there and spending millions of dollars can be the difference between that golf course having a profit and no profit. This is why it's scary with Jim Justice. He is already being bribed by the Saudis. Every one of these people that owns a golf course is being bribed by the Saudis. They get paid enormous amounts of money to hold golf tournaments where there are no fans, there's virtually no fans, and there's no TV deal. In fact, I think they just barely got a TV deal. That's why they keep bringing up the Greenbrier. But that's the Saudis. That's UAE. That's the same people funding the UFC. That's the same people that are funding Donald Trump. When you see those connections, Dana White, UFC, Live Golf Tour, Donald Trump. When Donald Trump's at all the UFC events and he's at the Live Golf Tour events, there's a reason for that. They're all funded by the Saudis.
Defaulted on his payments in early 2024. Carter announced that it would hold a public auction of the resort, only calling off the auction in late June after Justice promised to at least make $2 million in monthly interest payments. Carter is so concerned over Justice's debts that it has forced the liquidation of collateral, including thousands of acres auctioned in Greenbrier and Monroe counties. Other creditors are also coming for West Virginia's 73-year-old freshman senator. Last January, Russia's Carolang Investments Limited, which is due $10 million in royalties on Justice's coal mines, won a court order to seize the Justice family helicopter, which they sold for $1.4 million. In June, A court ordered U.S. Marshals to help Carolang seize enough assets from Justice Family coal companies to cover the rest. Then in October, distressed debt investors McCormick 101 and Beltway Capital of Maryland also announced an auction.
All right, you get the picture. This guy's heavily in debt. He's already funded by the Saudis, and now he's going into the Senate. He's not the governor anymore. He's going into the Senate. I wonder why he got like a Trump endorsement there. I wonder why the people of West Virginia decided to put him up. How come these people that are so obviously corrupt, and even if he wasn't corrupt, a target for corruption, why do the Republicans keep putting up people like this? We have any thoughts on that? Did the chat die? Is everybody still here? The chat just died on YouTube. I don't know if the YouTube folks are still here. We might have lost you. It's 73 years old. Let's see. Read some comments, then we're almost done. Thank you, Tip Top. Appreciate it, my friend. Oh, yeah. We're going to hit it with $25 short. All right. 73-year-old freshman. He's going to have a lot of new ideas. Maybe they hired him for all his new ideas. Maybe it was his energy. Maybe it was his sex appeal. I would have considered it for the Bulldog, though. I do like Bulldogs. I just have one last executive order that we'll cover today, and then that'll be it. Just the Medicare executive order. There's going to be a lot of confusion about this. You can already see it. Republicans say that Donald Trump is the originator of the cap on Medicare prescription costs, specifically insulin. Donald Trump put out an executive order while he was president that basically never was enforced, and it was for a very limited part of Medicare, and it was an opt-in option. I think it was for Medicare Part, I think Medicare B, I can't remember, or D, I don't remember. It says in this, I think. And then Joe Biden introduced legislation that capped the cost of Medicare for all seniors. And now Donald Trump went and rescinded Joe Biden's executive order 1487, which was specifically put in place to lower the cost of prescription drugs. The key components that you need to know from 14087 is that they made a $2 drug list model, and that was an initiative that was trying to cap certain drug prices at $2 for Medicare beneficiaries. So that is gone. Cell and gene therapy access model was designed to improve access to high-cost therapies for Medicaid recipients. This model aimed to negotiate pricing and facilitate coverage. That is gone. The accelerating clinical evidence model, which is focused on expediting the availability of effective treatments, that is gone. In the executive order in 2022, Biden said too many Americans face challenges paying for prescription drugs. On average, Americans pay 2 to 3 times as much as people in other countries for prescription drugs. And 1 in 4 Americans who take prescription drugs struggle to afford their medications. Nearly 3 in 10 American adults who take prescription drugs say they have skipped doses, cut pills in half, or not filled prescriptions due to cost. So the impact that we potentially have here: halted development of cost reduction models. So this $2 model, that is now halted. A potential increase of out-of-pocket expenses, meaning that these prescription prices can go up. The cap on the Medicare cap can go up. Potentially, you're going to see seniors paying more. And then uncertainty in future drug pricing policies. The real issue I have here is not that, like, maybe Donald Trump has a plan, but he's cutting this before he's told us what his plan is. He said the previous administration has embedded, you tell me, for the people here, you tell me if he's siding with big business or if he's siding with the people here in this comment. The previous administration has embedded deeply unpopular, inflationary, illegal, and radical practices within every agency and office of the federal government. The revocations within this order will be the first of many steps the United States federal government will take to repair our institutions and our economy. He's rolling back price protections to help our economy. How does that work? How does that work? How does that work for our, just like stock prices will go up for big pharma because they get more revenue? DNC committee rapid response director Alex Floyd said Donald Trump is already following through on his dangerous plan to jack up the cost of drugs to appease his billionaire backers after the Biden-Harris administration took on Big Pharma and won. Trump is again proving that he lied to the American people and doesn't care about lowering costs, only what's best for him and his ultra-rich friends. And that's, again, it's time after time after time after time. It's Donald Trump. We're 2 days in. He has done nothing for the American people, but he's done a hell of a lot for the Christian nationalists who got him there and the big businesses who fund him. And I think it's important to keep checking that. Heather, thank you so much for all the gifted subs on TikTok. I don't see those on my end, so Jen, let me know. I appreciate that. Jen said check Discord. Oh, just for that. I also have Push Pop sent a what do we call it? A super chat. Thank you very much for that super chat there, Push Pop. Oh, those were gifted subs. Is that TikTok, Jen, or is that YouTube? That looks like YouTube. I think Heather did the gifted subs on YouTube. Thank you, Heather. Appreciate that. Let me check comments one more time, and then we'll get out of here. Tomorrow we'll be back covering cool stuff. Tomorrow is the end of. We're not talking about Trump tomorrow. We're back talking about the oligarchy. So I look forward to that. Christina says, "Fuck our grandparents," I guess, right, Tex? Gotta go. Look, that's the truth is they look at these like numbers. It is the fundamental difference between conservatives and progressives is that they look at everything like a number. So when they say, oh, this many people will die, that's fine. Like they can't humanize it. In order to be a real good capitalist, you have to stay away from humanizing things. Otherwise, you realize you're choosing money over people's lives over and over and over again. Check in messages one last time. I think we're good. I think I got them all. I apologize if I didn't get your messages that you guys sent in. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Twitch and YouTube and Twitter. My friend Zach, shout out Zach if you're here. My friend Zach said he's watching on Twitter today, so that's sorry, buddy. Sorry for all the lefty shit. But thank you guys for helping us build out these other platforms for Twitch and YouTube. It's nice to see you all here. Thank you again to the TikTok audience. We'll be back tomorrow morning and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can find us anywhere these days. If you're not subscribed to us on Twitch and YouTube already, please do so. If you'd like to become a member on YouTube, we have different membership levels that include things like discounts for merchandise, special shout-outs, gives you access to emojis and early release videos. So we will you can go look at the membership levels on that. If you want to buy merch, we have that in our link tree. You can find our merch shop there. Thank you to all of the moderators who now are learning multiple platforms for keeping things together. I don't think we got suspended on a single platform today. And then WGen, of course, for keeping this shit together. Thank you guys so much for all the support. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. And let's roll out with the theme song. While the theme song's going, Snapchat, TikTok chat, will you let us know who we're rating? Jovan, is Jovan live? All right, it's good trouble. It's good trouble. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning, bright and early. Tell Good Trouble I said what's up, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna leave with the theme song. I'll leave it up, but thank you guys so much.